wonder if it's going to work. Is it going to work? That's the whole question, right? I hope so. We got a little bit of a different type of setup going on right now. And exciting. None the least. But yeah. Did you have an amazing weekend? Because I hope you did. It's the most important thing ever. Oh, I need to select something. Oh, there we go. I think it's working. I hope it's working. Yep. All right. That's good. That'll work for now. That'll definitely work for now. Organized. You need to be organized 100%. Speaking of organization, what are we doing here? What are we doing exactly? Let's see. We got the music rolling. Does this sound good? Check, yeah. So many things going on. But that's also what makes it exciting, right? I hope so. All right, so we're about to watch something that could reshape global oil prices. Come on, audio man. Turn it down a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. Hey, how are you? Rico fam. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the chat. Also going to reshape military positioning, economic stability in the next 30 days. This is not entertainment. This is institutional pressure. How you doing, Lin Po? Good to see you. So Iran just set a deadline. Trump is reviewing counter proposals. The Strait of Hormuz is the choke point for 30% of global oil. Did that raise? It was 20%. What are they talking about? I guess 30% now. Every commodity ripples. Every market corrects. Every portfolio rebalances. Yeah, USA, buddy. Trumpy. Let's see what's happening with Trump. Talk to me, Trump.
He was a big Biden guy.
Biden.
Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person. But he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big, and I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did, but we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden-era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews.
Expert.
But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great. But it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here. For 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level, using great architects and all. And, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, even the contractor said,
has anyone ever been to D.C.?
Sir, we walk down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great.
Cap Wins jumping in on the chat saying, we are an insane amount of debt, and this guy is making it worse with CR app, like paying out his friends after giving them pardons for crimes they plead guilty to.
Great little area where you
dropping in some knowledge in the chat. Cap Wins, thank you for joining in on the chat, buddy.
see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. They've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. You'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
That would be ideal.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret...
These are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points.
Insidious saying, yeah, because what he's trying to do isn't focused on the overall compared to Democrats giving money to nonprofits that don't help one single American citizen. And do some of those nonprofits happen to be scams like the ones in Minnesota? We're going to be hearing from Ilhan Omar in the future. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. It helps support the channel. Keep us online. And the Lord loves you. I love you. We love you. We're developing the best community over here. Talk to us, POTUS.
Troy, this is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach, and I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, that's right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. We were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away number one in space, and reestablished Spacecom with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration, under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama.
Terry Simmons jumping in on the chat saying Canada doesn't want anything to do with Trump, and also saying Pete Hegseth is a son of immigrants. There you go.
Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead, because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our warfighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen.
We got Fluff Daddy jumping in on the chat saying, why wasn't Stormy Daniels charged with extortion? My goodness. There you go. Anyone have an idea for that one? Oh, sweet. Oh, look at that smile. They got a beautiful smile together. Amazing people right there.
Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Here.
Good JD, would you like to say something?
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure the Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But Mr. President, thank you for making priorities of defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, if President Trump loses the SPLC case, I'll definitely say I'll be here to support it. Golly, Chica, how you doing? Good to see you.
Listen,
Colorado Gamer says Trump lies so much you can't discern exaggeration, omission, or sarcasm from fact or reality. Chat, do we agree with that?
As chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs, and that's Huntsville, Alabama.
There we go.
So thank you all very much. You are...
He always says if the SPLC was so cracked, why is their leadership abandoning the ship like rats? Because they are, and did it. There we go. There we go.
Going to leave me alone now? You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela. and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Tuberville talked about the cost savings associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see it?
Yeah, there you go. We always saying, from what I have read on the SPLC case, they have been funding racism for 20 years. Got caught. My goodness. Must be tough for them, right? Do y'all agree with that? Is that right or wrong? Cali Chica saying Trump, and he is golden toilet. There we go. The racism was about gone, and then Obama was installed. The SPLC doing what they did fits the timeline. There you go. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in a super chat, become a member, get a little cool sign, a little badge right next to your name. Turn your name green. There you go.
Weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend, so I would say a lot of people know. I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you were open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. It'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most.
We got a chat from K-Yep AGI saying, bro, what's the secret for your mustache? Become a member and I'll give you the whole tutorial, buddy. Don't you worry about that. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. It's just a little bit of grooming right there.
Most teachers don't know, but I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just, we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have, there's something going on, and it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact. For no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, you know.
We got Terry Simons jumping on the chat saying, but conservatives don't want any gun safety. They create a problem to continue to run on gun rights. There you go. We got Oi Oi jumping on the chat, heating it up, saying wrong. The SPLC paid for groups of racists to go to protest and cause problems. The FBI has infiltrated white racist groups since the 80s. There you go. Just in case you're wanting to know, is that accurate? Is that not accurate?
Probably the two worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with it. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. You know, we had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such.
That's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Do we get some MAGA emojis in the chat for that? Well done, POTUS. Well done. More power to you, buddy. That's such a beautiful thing to know, honestly. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad. Really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week. You know, it was like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been.
And Agaro says, hey, Mike, dude from Europe here again. Has he mentioned the mass hot metal throwing in Minnesota, Texas, Oklahoma already? My goodness. Send me a link. What happened? Goodness gracious. I think we'll cover that soon. Breaking news. We got James Cunliffe jumping in on the chat saying, are they the Three Stooges?
We're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. We had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. We took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. It was.
There you go. We got Tara Matthews jumping down the chat saying women should not be cops. Do you guys agree? Women should not be cops? I think to a certain extent, women are much better than men at a few things, but not all things. So maybe they could be law enforcement in other ways, but maybe not necessarily in, being on the front lines and fighting and those types of things. But women are absolutely talented at so many things. Devoted follower of the Unblind. How you doing? Happy to have you here, buddy.
It was cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, it would have been a very sad day. And remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay. Whatever it takes. But the main thing is But he got up and said we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again, You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So
71 Fluff Daddy says, Baltimore is a generational crime city. I accidentally got lost there on the old GPS. Glad I made it out safe. Happy you. Yeah, we're all happy for you, buddy. Happy you made it out safe. Good job. And we got N.I. Aggro saying women are most of the time better in diffusing tricky situations, in my point of view. I would absolutely agree with that in certain situations, depending on the female's level of IQ. And if it's a little bit on the lower side, I would completely disagree with you. But and sometimes on the higher side, if they're extremely smart but evil, yeah, they're not good at diffusing anything. But for the most part, yeah, definitely agree with you. Women do know how to diffuse a situation, especially if they have a good soul.
So, Navy.
And by the way, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in some super chats, become a member. We're developing the best community on the internet right here.
Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines. Whatever that is, you'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling, and that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's... In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. Mm-hmm. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be... Where was the window? Let me see.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. Yeah. So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows they're all sealed. You can't open them.
What you were saying regarding the federal...
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby
JMD?
till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan in your
Well,
social
it certainly
media
is. It certainly
and in
is.
fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now. And we're able to, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. It's a very important decision, and frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars, and by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy, everybody's happy, but some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4. With one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that. Because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop president, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes.
I got Captain Blackbird jumping in on the chat saying, look, guys, a professional BSer giving us a BS story. Watch and learn. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every single day of 2026.
We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need, a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
Introducing
phone in the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was alleged.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about it, I do too, about this.
True, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know? Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand, for many years it was a one-sided relationship. Only now since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S.
And that's absolutely the worst thing the United States can do to themselves is give jobs to different countries for absolutely no reason. That's just not intelligent at all. But to each their own if that's what they actually want to do. So we have a issue with Iran and the oil prices. Let's see what's happening over here.
With Iran, gasoline prices are at the highest level in 4 years, the average of $4.43 per gallon.
Oh man, I guess some of these messages get retracted if you say a few of these words. You got to kind of change them up a little bit. All right.
Gallon is up nearly $1.50 since the war began. Brent crude oil futures, this is light sweet crude, but Brent crude, which is the international standard, reached a high of $126.41 a barrel on Thursday before coming down since then. But oil prices have fluctuated wildly over the course of the war. Sometimes light sweet crude is more expensive than Brent crude, but these are prices that haven't been seen before. This price shock is rocking OPEC, the cartel that controls 40% of the world's supply of oil. The United Arab Emirates, whenever we're talking about Dubai or Abu Dhabi, that's the Emirates, is a founding member of OPEC, and it announced this week that it's leaving the oil.
There we go. Captain Blackbird jumping on the chat saying, who cares about missing children when we have a ballroom to worry about? There you go. That's how some people think, My goodness. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026.
Cartel for good. Because of the war, the consequent closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and a U.S. Navy blockade of Iranian ports.
There we go. Got some optimism in the chat. Alice Tango 6725 says $4 a gallon is still extremely good. Here it's $9 US a gallon.
Oil output from the Persian Gulf nations fell 57% in April compared to when the war began, according to Goldman Sachs. The CEO of Shell told Bloomberg, quote, we are talking about roughly 900 million barrels that have not been produced in the last couple of months, and that's essentially been replaced by stock drawdown, end quote. Now, stock drawdown means using up excess oil that's already been produced before the war started. For example, to try to ease the losses and to bring prices down, the United States has opened up its strategic oil reserves. The U.S. is in the process of releasing 172 million barrels of oil. That's according to the Department of Energy. Now, this is part of a coordinated pledge with the 32 member nations of the International Energy Agency, the IEA, to release a total of 400 million barrels from strategic petroleum reserves worldwide. Remember, though, that we're down by 900 million barrels, and we're looking to get 400 million barrels out there. So it's not even half of the loss that we've suffered. But even that global effort is not going to make up for the disruption that's caused by the war. Prices are not just up because of a supply issue, but because of uncertainty over the war and global trade and whether any oil from the region will ship in the coming months. And the effects of pricey oil, as we've been discussing, go beyond the price that you pay to fill up your car. This barrel of crude holds 42 gallons. The 42 gallons gets refined into different types of fuel. Here's how it breaks down, according to the United States Energy Information Administration. About 43% of a given barrel becomes petrol or gasoline that goes into your cars and some trucks. About 28% becomes distillate fuel, like diesel, which powers machinery, industrial plants, and most commercial and transport trucks. About 18% becomes products like propane, naphtha, and industrial lubricants. And about 10% becomes jet fuel. This last one is a major problem right now. Jet fuel shortages are a growing worry for California and other western states due to their location.
We got Kirby, no diff, jumping in on the chat saying prices are up because of tariffs. Do you guys believe that? What's going on? Fluff Daddy saying California gas is overtaxed. They voted for that. Yeah, so smart, right? So smart. Good job. California. Bro talking about rich people stuff. I'm working my backside off to work for a few gallons, let alone being able to think about barrels. Captain Blackbird. Jumping out of the chat saying that 5 billion, no man needs all that. Yeah, also The War in Iran by Terry Simmons.
And their relative geographic separation from much of the rest of the country, the West Coast imports a lot of its oil from Asia, which has been very hard hit by war-related disruptions. This comes as California recently shuttered 2 major refineries for repairs, and all of that adds up to a shortage in jet fuel that has nationwide ripple effects, not just for the travel industry. Keep in mind, a lot of what you order and you buy and you live with gets shipped by plane. This is nothing short of a global crisis that affects every form of transportation. Almost all goods that need to be shipped, I wouldn't say almost, 100% of goods that need to be shipped travel on vehicles that run on fuel. I guess the exceptions are vehicles that run on electricity. And because of the complexity and long-term planning involved in the global oil supply chain, even if the war were to end today, oil executives say they expect it.
Jumping in on the chat. Look at this man. What an incredible man. Giving €2. We gotta bring out Veronica for this one. Show some love to Captain Blackbird. Please, please. Please do. Come on. Veronica. Where is Veronica? Y'all ready for Veronica? Because here she comes.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Everybody loves you. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. That's what keeps this channel alive. I love you. The Lord loves you.
The disruption could last into 2027 at the very least. I'm joined now by my old friend, the MS Now business analyst, Ron Insana. He's the author of the Substack column, The Message of the Markets. Ron, thank you for being with us. The point I'm trying to get across here is that it's not just, hey, oil doesn't get through the Strait of Hormuz, so less gets to you and your prices.
We got Fluff Daddy saying she was going down, eyes wide open. Yeah, bro, she's gonna go do an exercise. Everyone thinks she's about to go do something else, but she's just doing a little bit of an exercise. It's healthy to live a good life, do some exercising. Thank you for the chat, buddy.
Are up. There's an intricate global energy complex that has been compromised by this so far 2-month war.
Absolutely. And again, as you say, and very, definitely pointed out, it extends well beyond just gasoline. And in fact, beyond what you showed, it extends into plastic, petrochemical products that are used in the manufacture of a wide variety of consumer goods. And then beyond that, there are other items that are not getting out of the Strait, like helium, which is used in computer chip production, fertilizer in the planting season. 70% of American farmers are saying that they're going to have to reduce their plantings this year because fertilizer is not only very expensive, but increasingly less available. So this has a wide impact. And again, it's not just on the United States. In fact, it affects other countries even more so than here. Japan imports 90% of its energy products, China 50%. And then when it comes to fertilizer, you have the entire global South, some of which, relies on subsistence farming and doesn't have access to fertilizer. This is a global problem, not just in terms of price, but also supply.
And notwithstanding, when you talk about the global South and places that depend on subsistence farming, when you reduce their output, that has knock-on effects, including political instability, more mass migration. But one of the things about oil is it's a commodity, which means that it trades on markets, which means that the reality of how much oil is available today or tomorrow is one factor. The other factor is what people think will happen, the stability of the system. Will this happen again? Will the U.S. and Iran get into it again and the Strait will close again? So there's another thing that affects the price of energy.
Yeah, the expectations, are seen in the so-called paper market in oil futures. So right now, the front months, if you will, or the spot price of oil is significantly higher than the price of futures that are dated out, into the end of this year or 2027, suggesting that there's an acute shortage right now. The more that price at the back end starts to go up, the more investors or traders believe that this is going to be a protracted problem. And we're also seeing away from the paper market, in the physical market where oil actually trades and is paid for around the world, that price is closer to $170 a barrel.
That's right.
Not $120 a barrel. So in the real world where transactions are taking place, oil is extremely expensive for all these countries that are trying to gain access to it. We happen to have less reliance on oil from the Middle East, but we still import oil, and now we're starting to export it to make up the difference. And by the way, that puts upward pressure on prices. More demand for U.S. oil means the price here is not coming down.
Correct. Ron, thanks as always. I appreciate it. Ron Insana, MS Now business analyst and author of The Message of the Markets on Substack.
Yeah. It is a little bit interesting what's happening over here, and it's hard to say with OPEC. What do you know what's going on? Like, how do you actually know what's going on? That's like, nobody really knows. But so what's going on with Israel and Lebanon? Israeli troops damage a Catholic site? My goodness. Terry Simmons saying, tax the billionaires and millionaires. Is that going to help? What about being more efficient with your taxes? What you do with those tax dollars? But thank you for the chat.
A Catholic charity has condemned what it called the deliberate act of destruction against a place of worship after a convent was damaged by Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. The Israeli military has admitted that a religious site was damaged while destroying Hezbollah sites. Israeli military's Arabic language spokesman, he said on X that its troops operating in the village of Yarun had damaged a structure inside a religious compound while dismantling what it described as terrorist infrastructure in the area. He claimed that there were no visible signs indicating that it was a religious building and that upon identification, the forces acted to prevent any further damage to the compound. He justified the presence of troops in the area by citing multiple rocket attacks launched by Hezbollah from within the compound toward Israeli territory. However, Israel's foreign ministry denied the site, which it described as a monastery and had been destroyed, Ministry asserted that the site was intact and safe and posted a photograph of a two-story house. The French Catholic charity has condemned the destruction incident in Yarun, saying that Israeli troops deliberately destroyed a convent and adjacent homes belonging to the Salvatorian Sisters, a Greek Catholic religious order that the charity is affiliated with. The incident comes days after the military jailed 2 soldiers for 30 days after they were found responsible for desecrating a statue of Jesus Christ in the village of Debel in South Lebanon near the border with Israel. A photograph that went viral on social media showed a soldier using a sledgehammer to strike the statue's head. On the Gaza front, Israel has quizzed 2 Gaza flotilla activists from a Gaza-bound boat. The activists were arrested by Israel off the coast of Greece and were brought to Israel for questioning. The flotilla of more than 50 vessels had set sail from France, Spain and Italy, and this was with the aim of breaking an Israeli blockade of Gaza and bringing aid supplies to the Palestinian territory. The move has triggered condemnation from Spain, which has termed Israeli action as illegal. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Friday accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of violating international law and demanded the release of a Spanish citizen detained by Israeli forces.
We have seen that the Israeli authorities of Netanyahu's government have abducted several citizens who were on the flotilla heading toward Palestine to deliver humanitarian aid and to keep reminding the world that there are people suffering in Gaza, in the West Bank, across all of Palestine.
Addressing Netanyahu directly, Sanchez said Spain would always protect its citizens and would continue to defend international law. He also asked Israel to release the Spanish citizen, calling it an abduction by Netanyahu's government.
Now that Netanyahu has done this, abducting foreign citizens, one of them is Spanish, and taking him to Israel, I say several things to Prime Minister Netanyahu. The first is that Spain will always protect its citizens. The second is that we will always defend international law, and this is a new violation of international law. And the third is that we want the release of the Spanish citizen who has been illegally abducted by Netanyahu's government.
So that's a touchy one, with Spain not really liking what's happening with the flotilla over there, chat. What do you think? I don't know much about the jewels on YouTube for donations. I have no idea. Captain Blackbird. Yeah, I think some people have done it, and I really don't know. Really don't know. But I think they're like I have no idea. Yeah, don't give any jewels, just do like super chats, I guess. If you want to help support. Oh, jewels on YouTube are a virtual currency that viewers purchase to send animated GIFs to creators during eligible vertical live streams. Viewers buy bundles of jewels via the YouTube mobile app on supported vertical live streams, then redeem them for GIFs that overlay the stream as fun animations. Creators earn rubies from these GIFs, with each ruby worth 1 cent, redeemable as real money after accepting YouTube's virtual items module. This feature launched in late 2024, initially for US viewers and creators in the YouTube Partner Program, though it has expanded to places like Taiwan. Purchases are limited up to $500 daily, non-refundable, and jewels don't expire unless the account is deleted. Yeah. There you go. So that's cool. But yeah, that's one of the best. Kev Dog Sauce, how you doing? It's probably one of the best ways to do it. I'm trying to arrange this. Yeah, Kirby says, bro, not worth it. Not worth it at all.
ring was left on the counter.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Oh my gosh, Cali Chica dropping 5. Thank you so much. You're amazing. You are amazing, girl. We gotta add a little. We gotta bring Veronica into the chat. Oh, Veronica. Veronica, where you at?
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Thank you, Cali Chica, for supporting the channel. We love you. I'm trying to fix this chat, so excuse me while it's not as cute as it is before, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. There's a Saturday Night Live thing with like Kash Patel, but I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not really a fan of like people making fun of, you know, FBI people, especially. Like these people are not living easy lives. We'll check it out.
Now look, I'd love to stay here and keep dunking on your
Keep dunking on your what?
weak asses, but someone else wants to come say hello before he's almost certainly fired. Director of the FBI, Mr. Kash Patel.
Kirby says, "Can I ask about the AI of a white girl?" Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, we got like a few things going on for the members. We're gonna go like very much in depth with that. We are going to go over AI generation, image generation, and video generation, and then also lighting setup with the studio. So yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding that stuff, that's gonna be happening very soon. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Go win a super chat if you want. He's got the big eyes over there. Terry Simmons says, "This FBI is not our FBI." What does that mean? Fluff Daddy says, "The last SNL sucked." Yeah. Have you guys ever really been like a fan of it? Has it been like just knee slappers? I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things, honestly.
What up? What up? It's K-Dot, a.k.a. Cash with the K, a.k.a. the most effective FBI director this country's ever had, Kash Patel. Now, after the attempted assassination of President Trump, another one.
I guess that was maybe like the best part of it. Another one.
Conducted an investigation that could not have been more thorough. We dotted every T and bulged every I. And for those of you saying I'm doing a bad job running the...
Fluff Daddy says, "The guy who plays Trump is good, but he was on this week." Yeah. Yeah.
FBI, well, what if I told you this...
One guy who does Trump really well is Shane. I think it was Shane Gillis. When Shane Gillis went on Kill Tony, did you guys see that one? Shane Gillis and Biden was by Ray Dow, some other guy. That one was hilarious. That one's worth watching for sure.
This agency is only 6 weeks away
If you guys want me to pull it up, I'll pull it up. Sure.
from pinpointing the exact location of Osama bin Laden. You guys should not be reporting the lies and the gossip. You should be reporting on the historic nature of my appointment. I'm a trailblazer. I'm the first Indian person to suck at their job. Everyone says Indian people are smart, hardworking, incredibly intelligent. I've proved without a shadow of a doubt that we can be just as incapable and incompetent as the whites.
There you go. Make fun of the white man, right? You gotta make fun of the white man. No reason not to. Come on.
Okay, questions. Yeah, you, little shorty.
Are you nervous about reports that Trump is angry with you?
Hell no. President Trump loves me. Everybody loves me. Even the Correspondents' Dinner shooter said, kill everyone but Mr. Patel? You get a shout out like that in a Psycho's manifesto? You must be doing something right.
Okay, is it true that you, the director of the FBI, was locked out of your own email account?
That's just more lies. I've always been able to log into my email except for a brief 36-hour period of time when I forgot I had changed my password to Cash Me Outside 69.
And can I ask about your drinking?
What about it?
I was actually talking to Mr. Patel.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Not too good for me,
right,
honestly. It was decent, I guess. You know, like that time where you think, like, I think maybe these people are just not trying anymore. That's kind of like how I feel with some of these things. And you guys were talking earlier about Comey. So we have acting AG Todd Blanche says Comey indictment looks beyond a single Instagram post. They're going for the man, are they?
Move on to former FBI Director James Comey. A grand jury has indicted the former
doing,
FBI
Ziggy?
Director for this Instagram post. I want to put it up. I think a lot of folks have seen it at this point. 8647 in Seychelles, which the indictment says, quote, a reasonable recipient who is familiar with the circumstances would interpret as a serious expression of an
Oh, that's what that was. Oi, oi. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the clarification. Nice.
intent to do harm to the President of the United States. How does that image of Seychelles amount to a serious threat against the President's life?
Well, every case requires an investigation. And what you just showed is one part of that investigation. What you just showed is the Instagram post. Rest assured that the career Assistant United States Attorneys in North Carolina, the career FBI agents, the career Secret Service agents that investigated this case didn't just look at the Instagram post and walk away. That's why you saw an indictment last week, notwithstanding the fact that it was last May that the post was made. So I am not permitted to get into the details of what the grand jury heard or found, as you know, but rest assured that it's not just the Instagram post that leads somebody to get indicted.
Well, part of what the government would have to prove is intent. James Comey deleted the post the same day, and he wrote, quote, I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. How do you prove intent, Mr. Blanche, when Mr. Comey himself said he didn't understand that some people would look at that and think about violence?
You prove intent like you always prove intent.
We got Kirby jumping down the chat saying it hurt his feelings. Yeah. Gotta have some thick skin over here. Golly, Chica. That's a pretty cool little emoji you threw in there. That's cool.
You prove intent with witnesses, you prove intent with documents, with materials. So again, this is not just about a single Instagram post. This is about a body of evidence that the grand jury collected over the series of about 11 months. That evidence was presented to the grand jury. And it's not the government, it's not the Department of Justice, it's not Todd Blanche that returned an indictment against James Comey. It's a grand jury, part of the judicial process. And that this process has to be allowed to play out in the courts. It's not fair to Mr. Comey. It's certainly not fair to the prosecutors for us to be airing your view or my view of this indictment. It's something that will be presented in court at the time set by the judge.
Well, let's delve a little deeper. Conservative legal scholar Jonathan Turley said, quote, this indictment is facially unconstitutional, absent some unknown new facts. Are you in fact saying that there are facts beyond this Instagram post that clearly establish an intent to threaten the president's life?
I've said repeatedly, this was an investigation that lasted 11 months. If the only facts that existed was the posting of the Instagram, obviously that wouldn't have taken 11 months. And so when Mr. Turley talks about whether it's facially unconstitutional, absent unknown facts or circumstances, we will necessarily have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial every element of this crime, which we're prepared to do.
Can you and will you let the public know what any of those other facts are?
Absolutely. It's called a trial. That's what happens in every single case. We indict thousands of cases every year. Every one of those cases, there's an indictment, and then eventually there is a trial or some sort of disposition. At the trial, a public trial that will be open to the public, everybody in this country will know exactly what evidence the government has against Mr. Comey.
I know you can't give me specifics, but can you give me any insight? Are you talking about writings? Are you talking about conversations?
Do you guys see her eyes? What's going on with this? Like, I don't want to roast this frame, dude. I'm sorry, but her eyes, dude. What in the world is going on? Oh, you guys can still see. No, not so much. Oh man. Dude, her eyes, pretty gnarly, pretty gnarly.
Conversations. What does this other evidence consist of?
We are talking about evidence of all sorts, and that means documents, that means witnesses, and that means
They said the same thing about the Island Man files. There you go.
Whole array of what we did. And again, we are not talking.
Yeah, what's she trying to do when she's looking at that man like that?
About some political guy in D.C. running out and getting an indictment. We are talking about career prosecutors in North Carolina systematically investigating a case with the FBI working with them, with the Secret Service working with them, and
she's
now
trying
we
to be
have an
hyper-focused on him.
Well, the image, excuse me, is part of what led to this indictment.
Yes.
It is worth noting that on Amazon.com, we looked this up, there are dozens of products with the same terminology. We're showing it right here, 8647 being sold and purchased right now. Should individuals selling or buying 8647 merchandise be
User TT, how you doing, buddy?
concerned that they're going to be prosecuted by the DOJ?
This isn't about a single incident. Okay, this isn't. I mean, of course not. That's posted constantly. That phrase is used constantly. There are constantly men and women who choose to make threatening statements against President Trump. Every one of those statements do not result in indictments. Of course, there are facts, there are circumstances, there are investigations that have to take place, and we have charged dozens and dozens of men and women this year with threatening President Trump and others. So this isn't a new charge we're bringing.
Just to be very clear, you are suggesting the seashells themselves are not at the root of this indictment.
No, I am suggesting that every single case depends on the investigation that's done. And of course, the seashells are part of that case. I mean, that's what the public sees. But without a doubt, and it should be evident by the fact that it's been 11 months since the posting and the indictment, there is an investigation that takes place. And that's the result. The result of that investigation is the indictment that was returned last week.
Let's talk big picture. Back on September 20th, President Trump publicly posted a private message to then Attorney General Pam Bondi, pressuring her to prosecute Senator Adam Schiff, James Comey, and Letitia James, writing, quote, "They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. They impeached me twice. They indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served."
We got coffee buttercream saying, bro's locked in. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. That's right.
Now, why should the public believe that any case brought against the individuals listed there is an independent law enforcement decision and not retribution?
Well, because you have investigations and you have indictments and you have the result. I mean, listen, if years later you're judged by a simple note from President Trump, by the way, that wasn't a private message. That was a message delivered to the entire world.
Right.
And so this is not being done behind closed
But it
doors.
was meant to be private initially, based on my conversations.
Yeah, bro, super
Based
real.
on my conversations, it was meant to be.
I'm not
with
aware of
top
this conversation.
Welcome to the chat, buddy. We're going live every single day of 2026. I'm just trying to figure out this thing, how to clean up this chat and try to listen to this woman at the same time. Try to figure out what's going on with Comey and try to talk to everybody at the same time. You know, every day there's always a new struggle, man. You think like you got everything set, and then bam, out of nowhere, new struggle. And how do you get over those struggles? You just try. You just absolutely try. And keep on working at it until you figure it out. And don't let these little obstacles slow you down. Yeah, so that's part of it. How you doing? How's your life? What are your plans for this week? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in some super chats if you want. I'm still trying to learn how to speak, as you can tell. And she's still looking at him like that. I don't know. With these politicians and these news anchors, like, are you sure that's coffee? Or is she on to like some NSFW stuff for work? Like, what's really going on with her, bro? Yeah, man.
Administration officials, it was meant to be private and posted by mistake.
President Trump is very clear with the American people what he expects as president of the United States. That is not something he hides from the American people. He wants justice. He wants full...
User TT says, vodka.
Investigations were appropriate. And by the way, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Everybody in this country should want that. And so, no, I don't operate based upon concern or fear. The American people will know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it.
And yet, Mr. Acting Attorney General, the Justice Department has already indicted former FBI Director James Comey, as you know, and New York Attorney General Letitia James, and a federal judge dismissed both of those cases. Why should people have confidence that this case will actually move forward and is rooted in facts?
Well, let's be accurate, okay? The judge dismissed those cases not based on a factual finding that President Trump...
Leanne Nuttall says, I hope Comey ends up in prison. What do you think, chat? Do you want Comey to end up in prison? Let's start a poll, right? Should Comey go to prison?
Trump did something wrong, or that there was something wrong with the underlying facts leading to that indictment. The federal judge dismissed that case because he found that the U.S. attorney was not properly appointed. That's not there was no final finding on the facts or anything like that. So look, those cases are on appeal. We will.
Yeah, that's right, Chico. We're making the best community here online. So I'm so happy y'all are welcome. And yeah, this is kind of like the startup phase. It's just going to keep on getting better and better and better.
We'll see what happens. But again, you're comparing apples to oranges when you say just because that indictment was dismissed, there's something wrong with the underlying investigation.
Well, again, he did directly push to have those people indicted. Charges were brought and then they were dropped. Does that not undercut potentially the trust that people have in the Justice Department?
Absolutely not. And by the way, do you think, or do the American people think that nothing was done on those cases until President Trump posted that truth in September? No, these are ongoing investigations. Investigations take time. Investigations take effort. And so, no, I am not concerned. What we do at the Department of Justice, the American people can judge us, and they will. And I'm ready to be judged because we're doing the right thing. We're restoring justice, which nobody saw for 4 years. There weren't guests on your show for 4 years during the last administration being overly critical of what the Department of Justice is doing, and that was a problem, and we fixed it.
We thank you for watching, and remember...
Stoked that they fixed it. Absolutely stoked. We still gotta check her eyes. Bro, her eyes are like that the whole time. I don't know. Okay, she closed them down there. You think she's related to Kash Patel? Could be. Iran blockade crisis. Why it is hurting the United States. Talk to us, Al Jazeera.
Trita Parsi is the Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft and joins us now from Washington, D.C. Trita, it's good to have you with us again. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I was reading something that you recently wrote, and you called the blockade of the blockade by the U.S. a delusional silver bullet. But if it is keeping Iran in the negotiation process, is it not working?
The negotiations were taking place and could have continued to take place regardless of the blockade. The blockade has nothing to do with the Iranians being at the table. The blockade is blocking diplomatic progress more than anything else, and also has backfired on Trump in the sense that once Trump managed to get the ceasefire, which was through diplomacy, pre-blockade, he actually ended up getting the greatest benefit of that ceasefire because the primary pressure on him, the war itself and the manner that it was pushing up gas prices, actually was now taken off. And had he just stayed in that scenario and used time to his advantage, he would have been in a much better position vis-a-vis the Iranians, because the Iranians had not managed to get the key thing they wanted, which is sanctions relief. But because of the fact that he imposed the blockade, he actually took more oil off of the market. And oil prices are now higher during the ceasefire than it was during the war itself. And we've also seen the 10-year yield going up to 4.4, getting close to 4.5. So all of these different economic indicators show that the blockade is actually making the situation worse for Trump. And the assumption he had that he had more time on his side was absolutely true as long as he didn't impose the blockade.
We have not heard from the president about what is in this 14-point proposal, this most recent one from Iran yet, or what might be different in it from the last one. Why do you think he might be so pessimistic about it off the hop?
I think it is part of his public approach to these negotiations, in which he wants to give the impression that he is not looking for a deal, he's not desperate for a deal, it's the other side that is desperate for a deal, that he's playing very hard to get. So I think there's a messaging that is coming publicly from the Trump administration, and I think the private one is probably quite different. That does not mean, however, that the two sides are not very far away from each other. At least what has been made public by the Iranian media are what may be in that proposal. The Iranians are making very, very significant demands. What is not revealed in the Iranian media.
How dare you call me a pina colada type of man? I think right now is going to be the first time I'm ever going to ban a member. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm kidding, man. I actually do like pina coladas. Very tasty, but unhealthy. So since they're unhealthy, I just like force myself not to like those things. And yeah. But I kind of do like pina coladas.
Media is what is it that the Iranians are offering Trump in return. And if those offer actually are...
See how defensive I got? I got so defensive because who doesn't like pina coladas, honestly, man? Damage ain't jumping in on the chat. I'm so confused how YouTube works too, bro.
Pretty far-reaching, then this actually may be a basis for some form of a more advanced negotiation that could lead to a deal.
I feel like I've been asking this question for about 2 months now, and I'm not sure if you have an answer for me, but is there a point where this gets too expensive to continue? At what point does the economic...
Damage in the chat. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? How you doing, One Love? Good to see you, buddy.
repercussion of this blockade become too much for either side to continue to bear?
I think it has also already proven itself to be too expensive for the U.S. side. It is definitely imposing a cost on the Iranian side as well. But reality is Iran has been under all kinds of economic pressures and sanctions for 47 years. None of them have managed to break the Iranians or force them to capitulate. And all of them, the Iranians have managed to find ways around, and they're already finding ways to circumvent the blockade as well. But the manner in which the blockade is pushing up oil prices, which is having a direct political impact on Trump at home, goes beyond what I think the White House had anticipated.
How long can both sides hold out if that's the case?
I think they can probably hold out for a couple more weeks, but bottom line is the situation for both of them are just going to get worse. And at the same time, other countries are suffering tremendously from this. You have fuel shortages in many Asian countries right now. It just was revealed today that Kuwait has not exported any oil at all for a whole month now. This has not happened for about 30 or 40 years. So plenty of other countries are paying a very, very high economic price because of this conflict. And at some point, there's going to be greater political pressure from other powers, China, for instance, in order for this deal to reach some sort of a diplomatic solution.
And when we talk about sort of the repercussions that are happening from this and the ripple effects, we heard the president say just a bit earlier that there will be more than 5,000 troops taken out of Germany, U.S. troops withdrawn from Germany. I wonder what you think that means for the American relationship and the American strategy going forward with its European allies.
Well, we already seen that the transatlantic relationship is in unprecedented crisis. There are elements or factors here that are mostly because of Trump, but there are factors here that are structural. That means that they would have occurred one way or another, even if Trump was not president. And part of it is that it's simply too expensive for the United States to continue this policy of offering the Europeans the security umbrella absent far greater burden sharing by the Europeans themselves. But beyond that, in the manner that this war has now ended, or at least as it has been conducted so far, we also see that the United States' ability to sustain primacy militarily is also under question right now, because the United States essentially has lost this war strategically at a minimum. And shows that the Iranians could do to the United States what the Ukrainians have managed to do to the Russians. That's going to raise question marks about the utility, about the not just the reliability, but also the effectiveness of America's security umbrella in many other places, not just in the Middle East.
Trita Parsi, Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. Thank you very much for being with us here on Al Jazeera.
Before the Iran...
For some reason, it feels like I'm not getting that much truth from that message. I'm trying to understand that one, and it's not bringing it to me. Like, I'm not having it for some reason. What do you think, Chad? Did you gather much from that one, or it's kind of, that was an empty-handed one? United Arab Emirates OPEC exit. Pretty big deal. So the crude oil is projected to remain above $100 this year, according to Wyon.
War in late February, global oil markets feared a supply glut, with Brent trading under $70 a barrel as American production outpaced demand. This expected surplus was driven by increased production and OPEC quota adjustments. However, immediate threats to the Strait of Hormuz have caused prices to spike over 70% to above $125 a barrel. Global oil markets have surged sharply, with Brent crude rising to its highest level in over 3 years. Escalating tensions between the United States and Iran has prices jump nearly 10% in a single session as disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz sparked fears of prolonged supply constraints. The rally in oil comes as US President Trump signaled a hardline stance.
Anytime I just hear that word, it kind of makes me smile a little bit. The Strait of Hormuz.
On Tehran's nuclear program. As a result, the stalled negotiations further fueled market volatility. At the turn of the year, predictions are for Brent crude to trade in the $50 to $70 per barrel range in 2026. In recent years, global oil markets were experiencing a surge in production, largely driven by the Americas, which threatened to overwhelm demand. However, the base case forecasts now show Brent at well above $100 for the remainder of the year. Fears of an extended blockade at the Strait of Hormuz, a key artery for 20% of global oil, turned the market from oversupplied to panic-driven. This.
All right, sorry guys, gonna have to see my big ugly face for a second. This is a practice in patience. Almost over. Almost over. I'm sorry.
Transformation from a potential supply glut to a scarcity-driven surge highlights how quickly geopolitical tensions can overcome fundamental market conditions. Even an immediate end to the Iranian war is not expected to stop the economic consequences from the historic energy crisis. The most...
All right, we got maybe someone related to this gentleman. Representative Ilhan Omar. Here's deadline for document handover and fraud.
Optimistic outlook for Brent this year is pegged at around $80 per barrel. That is still about a third higher than what was expected at the start of this year. Currently, Brent crude is pricing in a war premium. Analysts say Brent could possibly revisit the 2022 highs of over $140 per barrel as soon as this week if the Hormuz blockade continues. The benchmark has already gained over 20% this week so far. The latest surge comes even after the United Arab Emirates' decision to leave OPEC, the oil producers group. Ideally, that should have weighed on oil prices on increased supply, as the UAE now does not have to follow a production quota system. However, the uncertainty on when the Iran war will completely end has weighed on prices and offset UAE's OPEC exit.
Yeah, good, great. Talk to me, Representative Ilhan Omar. Let's get down to it.
And meanwhile, Minnesota lawmakers are asking Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to respond by Tuesday regarding questions about a statewide child nutrition fraud scheme. The lawmakers are seeking Omar's written and electronic communications involving the state's Feeding Our Future program, which misused millions of dollars in taxpayer funds. State lawmakers specifically hoping to look at Omar's correspondence with the owners of the Safari restaurant. State lawmakers point out Omar was a regular at that restaurant, staging many campaign events there. Its owners recently pleaded guilty for their role in the $250 million fraud scheme. Now, Omar's team and allies have largely framed allegations trying to link her to fraud as politically motivated and not substantiated. But for more on this, we are joined by Minnesota State Representative Kristen Robbins tonight. She is the chair of the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Oversight Committee, also a candidate for Minnesota governor. Appreciate you being here today and sharing your perspective. And I know we're fast approaching this Tuesday request for Congresswoman Omar here. If she doesn't respond by this deadline, what is your committee's move on Wednesday morning?
We hope she will respond. She certainly owes it to Minnesota taxpayers and families to respond to our questions. And so I'm still hoping, but if not, the committee will examine all our options and we will continue to press for it because she created the program, the Meals Act, that took the guardrails off the school nutrition program.
What's going on with her hat?
Program that created the conditions for all this fraud, and she should come and answer our questions.
Will you try to subpoena her?
So we will look at all the options. We'll see what happens next week in committee.
Assuming that she doesn't respond, and I'm not sure that she would. I mean, given she's a member of Congress, it doesn't seem that the committee has actual authority to get her to show up. Let's assume she does not respond. Will the committee be pursuing a subpoena on Wednesday?
So we are looking at all the options. As you may know, we don't have the full subpoena power at the committee at this time.
This woman went from $30 million a year, making $30 million a year, to making $100,000 a year. Interesting. Ilhan Omar.
Because of the makeup of the House being tied, but we will certainly look at all our options, and we will also continue.
She's an embarrassment for Somalians. Captain Blackbird jumping in on the chat. Oh my gosh. It says the NSA has every keystroke you have had for 20 years plus. There you go. They better watch out, man. I type at like 114 to 144 words per minute.
Continue to work with our federal partners who do have subpoena power. So,
what? Somebody bringing out the cat? Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat, and if you become a member, we're going over like how to make these things, this cat thing, how to make these laughing dogs, how to overlay them, move them around, do whatever you want. We got Veronica, but we can't show Veronica until we get a member or a super chat or one of those things. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. And we have like the best community over here. We're developing the best community online. And I just want to let you know I love you. And we're trying to find the truth, honestly.
So this is far from over, and we will keep looking at all options available to us.
Have you seen any direct evidence linking Congresswoman Omar to any wrongdoing?
Well, the court exhibits.
Oh, damage. What? Dropped a gift. I like that one. That was a laughing ghost, dude. What in the world? That was so cool, man. Solid, bro. That was super solid. Sent a laughing disco. Okay, that's what it is. All right. That was cool, bro. That was entertaining. I'm so happy I saw it.
From Feeding Our Future showed in the exhibit list different communications between her office and some of her staffers and Feeding Our Future defendants. And that is the information we're trying to get. What were they communicating about? Did they tell them that
100% W for damage, bro.
they'd taken the guardrails off the program? Did they encourage them to get involved as one of the sites? Safari Restaurant was one of the sites that, as you noted, has been charged and convictions have been brought against them, but they were the largest single site in the Feeding Our Future case. So we definitely want to understand what her office was communicating, and I think that should be made available to the public.
Her team and Democrats have said that these allegations are politically motivated.
Double ooze.
Tell me more about that. Is this about fact-finding, or is this about putting political pressure on a high-profile Democrat?
This is about getting the truth. That's what we want. We want the truth. For far too long in Minnesota, people were afraid to tell the truth about the fraud problem. And when they did, they were retaliated against. And we have said that will no longer stand. We are going to tell the truth. We are going to follow the facts and the law, and then we will see what happens. But we have a duty to the taxpayers. And
Drizda Pre says, do only super chats appear in the stream? You know what? Everything's supposed to appear in the stream unless... Do we see that one? Say something else so I can go double check. I think everything's supposed to show up in the stream. There you go. I see you. No, just saw mine. My previous one didn't. Oh, sometimes, broski, if you say something bad or you say like a word, you have to like hide it in some way or do one of those types of things where... Not hide it, but kind of speak in code, unfortunately, because like the great Ian Carroll said, get ready for a lot of censorship after 2024. Ernie M says, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, I got that truth buster over there. It's not working. Damage is the GOAT, bro. Damage is the GOAT. I love you, Captain Black. I love everybody. We're going live every single day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. There you go.
and to the needy Minnesotans who need these services to find the facts.
And by the way, I'm just curious, how is like the response to chats going? I'm going to respond to every chat right now. All right, you got a blinky happy face. Ooh, makes sense. I made a challenge to diversity being a strength. There you go. Yeah, you can't challenge that diversity thing, man. That DEI thing is going to get you. How fast is my response? I'm going to try to be immediate to this one. Oh, I saw something move, but where'd it go? No. All right, everyone stop chatting. That's cool. There you go. Bam. Perfect like always. Bam. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
And get the truth.
We mentioned the FBI raid over those 20 locations in Minneapolis this week, including many daycare centers. Was your committee briefed by federal authorities before those raids took place, or were you watching them unfold on the news like everyone else?
No, we watch it on the news like everyone else. I have.
Rombo jumping in the chat saying, I seen a show in Minnesota that an airport security guard said he personally witnessed millions of US dollars in suitcases being sent to Somalia. And as long as they declared it, it's legal. Dang, dude. Dang. I guess you can put more than 10K in a suitcase, right? But you can't walk around with more than 10K in your pocket. User double T says, yep, seen it. Dang, dude. Rombo throwing some W's in the chat, bro. Thank you for that chat. Appreciate it. Well, there you go, man. There you go. And if they honestly push that bill to defeat Nick Shirley's work, defrauding the fraudsters, then it's just going to set such an appetite for more fraudsters to just commit fraud, which is not the way to do it. Not the way to do it. USA, not the way to do it. Come on, get your act together. We're going live every single day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Have a great relationship with our federal partners, and we certainly share information with them as we get it, because we want them to have
all from the Leering Center.
all information for their
Nice
investigations. But once they start looking at something, we find out just like everybody
NNI says it won't make you any smarter. What do you mean by that? Please explain, buddy.
else.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe
Oh,
below and
Cuomo.
download our news.
No. All right, we got the details on the correspondent dinner shooting suspect so far. Let's see what's going on.
And good evening. He was a star student, an award-winning teacher, and now he's charged with an attempt to assassinate the president.
Leah Nutt jumping in the chat saying Nick Shirley should get a medal. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Rombo says they had sent it to Dubai for it to be legal. There you go. Yeah, take American taxpayer dollars, send it to Dubai for sure. Captain Black says, I also need a medal for being tolerant with you bandits. There you go. Cali Chica says, Trump ain't taking care of the Americans people. Sad. That's true. Unfortunately. But maybe he is. We don't know. Maybe like he's cleaning up the cities, that's for sure. But yeah, how he's getting involved in overseas, how compromised is he to make sure that he has to do that, you know? And there you go. NNI retracted their message. All right.
President, 31-year-old Cole Allen, according to new documents filed today in federal court, bought these weapons, a semi-automatic handgun and pump-action shotgun, legally as far back as 2023. But in early April, investigators say he booked a room at the Washington Hilton and made a plan to attack the dinner there on Saturday. According to his own writings, his targets included President Trump and members of the administration, and he would go through most everyone to get there. Allen has not yet entered a plea. Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman has been following the investigation from the very beginning, and he joins us now. Matt, what more have we learned?
Tony, we now know that suspect allegedly planned this attack weeks in advance, and that he himself had written that he was surprised at the light security footprint at this hotel. We also spoke to a witness who saw him race past security, and she noticed that the doors to the ballroom at the time were open, so she ran downstairs herself to close them.
2 days after allegedly charging towards that Washington ballroom Saturday night, Cole Allen was in a federal courtroom today facing formal Department of Justice charges of the attempted assassination of a president.
Make no mistake,
this was an attempted assassination of the President of the United States, with the defendant making clear what his intent was to bring down as many of the high-ranking cabinet officials as he could.
President Trump has faced 2 previous assassination attempts, both during the 2024 campaign. Prosecutors also brought 2 federal gun charges against the California teacher, alleging he was armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, 38 semi-automatic handgun, and 3 knives. They say he raced through a magnetometer, leading to a staircase descending to the packed ballroom. The suspect then appears to fall forward, right at guest Aaron Thielman's feet.
And then immediately they were on top of him, I see.
At that point, I saw that he had his hands out in front of him on the ground, and the shotgun had fallen to his side, so he dropped his gun, and I just deemed it safe to get the hell out of there.
Within seconds, you can see Secret Service agents emerging from those doors.
I ran downstairs.
And what did you see about these doors?
The doors were wide open, and I was very concerned because we had the line of succession for our
Oh my gosh, what type of channel is this, girl? Come on, you're on the news.
country in the ballroom, and I didn't know what they knew. So I started shutting the ballroom doors.
As plates clattered in a hush that silenced the 2,500 guests who began ducking beneath tables.
Notice how she said ballroom?
Many of us began to film. It took about 10 seconds for officers to reach the president. It took security teams more than 3 minutes to clear top administration officials. The president...
Freudian slip. 100% a Freudian slip, dude.
and 12 of the 18 in the top line of succession were safe. A breakneck investigation began into how the suspect got that close, revealing that Allen, a 31-year-old from near Los Angeles, booked his room at the hotel.
Sorry, Leanne, I appreciate it. Hopefully you forgive me.
On April 6th. President Trump announced he would attend the dinner on March 2nd. Allen checked into the Washington Hilton on Friday, April 24th, the day before the dinner, traveling cross-country with his weapons by train, said officials. The Secret Service said its safety net worked, but top officials tonight are facing tough questions.
Law enforcement did not fail. They did
We got Crafty Clark jumping in on the chat saying hotels call them ballrooms. I sit corrected. All right, thank you so much, Crafty Clark. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026. Become a member, throw in a super chat. And for the members, if you have any ideas for those emojis, we're going to cover how to make those emojis too on our private live stream coming up, along with the AI stuff and lighting setup and whatever else you guys want to learn that I can teach ya.
exactly what they are trained to do. This was not an accident. It was the result, as we know now, of preparation.
In an email to family, timed to be sent just before the incident, police say the suspect himself expressed surprise at the security footprint.
Jaybird saying, just curious, what type of room would you call the area everyone was dining in? Very good question. Very good question. Yeah. Leanne, Nut Tall, forgiven. Was there a hot metal thrower sniffing dog at the side doors? Someone had a video like that. AI. I think that was actually real. I don't think that was AI. I think that that security guard actually did walk by that guy, and a lot of people saw that and they're thinking, oh, maybe that's the breadcrumbs to a setup, you know, because if a dog sees a gun, usually it's like, all right, something's happening.
He wrote, I walk in with multiple weapons and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before.
And Tony, the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been held at the Hilton here for decades with largely the same security protocol. What has changed, and the White House acknowledges this, is the threat environment in this country, the rise of political violence. Tony.
Yeah, we all feel it, Matt. Thank you very much. Even as the Justice Department gathered.
Captain Black says, that was real. Jimmy showed it. Which Jimmy? Who are you talking about? There we go. Captain Black jumping in on the chat saying, bro, plans for weeks. Goes in with multiple pawns, but surrendered right after. User TT saying, I'm thinking something stinks, like someone in Trump security is on the other side.
There's evidence some corners of the internet are brewing with conspiracies about the attack. In her interview Sunday with President Trump, 60 Minutes contributing correspondent Nora O'Donnell asked the president about this now familiar part of political life. Nora, tell us what he said.
Good evening, Tony. We did learn a lot from our interview about what happened during that security scare. But there were so many questions that rumors and conspiracy theories flooded the internet. One of the most prominent was that the attack was staged, suggesting a plot to distract from his declining poll numbers.
Is she watching our live stream?
Or the war in Iran. Now, there's no evidence of that, but the term staged was shared hundreds of thousands of times on X, and we asked the president about it.
I hesitate to ask you about this, but as you know, these conspiracy theories out there on the left and the right, that the event was staged or that it didn't happen.
Last night didn't happen?
That it was because it was your first time there, or that Butler didn't happen. These conspiracy theories that are gaining traction on the internet.
And October 7th didn't happen, and World War II didn't happen, and the Holocaust didn't happen, and many things didn't happen. Yeah, no, I hear it. I don't know. I think they're more sick than they are con people, but there's a lot of con in it too. I haven't heard that last night didn't happen. Usually it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Usually they wait about 2 or 3 months to start saying that.
The president told us he wants to reschedule the White House Correspondents' Dinner within 1 month. There are discussions underway today on if and when that will happen. Tony?
Meanwhile, the business of the White House continues. Late today, King Charles and Queen Camilla arrived for a...
Yeah, no, I saw that one. I think it was, she called him a P3D and all those types of things. But, yeah, they cut that part out. SC. Oi, what's an SC? Trying to figure that one out. Yep, user TC saw it.
State visit, even amid questions about security on Saturday, and also who's to blame for what everyone seems to agree is a heightened threat of political violence. Here's senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
President Trump welcomed King Charles and Queen Camilla to the White House today, the start of a carefully planned multi-day royal tour, now cloaked by even more security.
This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president stands by the Secret Service, but acknowledged improvements may be considered.
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question.
The Secret Service director visited Capitol Hill today to answer questions from senior lawmakers about the incident, while White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles is set to lead a review of the attack and how to balance safety with the president eager to appear at large public events.
There's many exciting events I know the president wants to be part of and will be part of moving forward.
Less than 2 days since the incident, there's bipartisan agreement that heated political rhetoric is inspiring violence, but each side still blames the other.
This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump, day after day after...
Cute. What do you think, Chad? Cute. Cute. We gotta end that poll. End that poll. All right, so should Comey go to prison? Yes, 67%. 33% say no.
After day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment.
We got Salim Sadar saying, Jesus, I voted for Trump 3 times. Nice.
Leavitt called out past comments by Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who this month said we're in an era of maximum warfare.
And this so
Jesus from Mexico voted for Trump? Question mark.
called White House press secretary wants to lecture America and lecture us about civility. Get lost. Clean up your own house before you have anything to say to us about the language that we...
A lot of people dislike this guy. Do you guys have a reason? Like, do you understand what's going on? What's the reason this guy gets so much hate?
Use.
White House...
Haktua Jeffries. Oh my God, bro. Bad visual, dude. Come on, dude. Gosh. Ban user TT immediately. Leah Nut Tall says the cons whispering poison in the ears of the stupid get the wild ones riled up. The dog alerting twice got to me. Worry. Yeah. Pretty wild. By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. And once you become a member, you get an awesome little badge right next to your name. Your name turns green. We got Oi Oi saying he is a fraud and lies. And Kirby says his ears are too pointy. Talking about this guy. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, dude. Lock him up.
About civility. Get lost. Clean.
These are all just jokes, by the way. We love everybody here. We're trying to find the truth.
Clean up your own house before you have anything to say to us.
That's right.
About the language that we use.
The White House also seized on the shooting as reason to quickly complete a new ballroom on White House grounds.
We absolutely believe that there is no better example of why this ballroom is necessary.
Right now, I started using, that's the reason I'm testing this thing out. I stopped using Restream and I'm using Social Stream Ninja. And I'm trying to figure this out because I want to be able to have, like, whenever someone says something, like, it goes, well, bam, and the name pops out so I can, like, just hype up that person. Or if I have, like, a funny thing that I'm laughing at, I want to highlight it so people know exactly what I'm laughing at. Like whenever Captain Blackbird drops his little tokens of hilarity.
The administration wants a lawsuit challenging the legality of the project dismissed, but the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which brought the suit, refused.
Awesome. Does the stream look better? Okay, that's good. That makes me happy. Yeah, I was thinking like it was downgrading in the stream a little bit, so that's cool.
To do so.
But the National Trust says construction requires congressional approval. So today, several Republicans said they'll be pushing legislation that would fund and approve the ballroom, which, important to point out, Tony, as originally conceived, wouldn't even be large enough to host the 2,600 people who were ticketed for Saturday night.
It's a big ballroom, but not that big.
Right.
Ed, while we have you, the president and the first lady are calling for ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel, the comedian, because of a joke he made last week. What do we know?
It all started on Thursday night when he released a video pretending to be MC of the Correspondents' Dinner and suggested that the First Lady has, quote, a glow like an expectant widow. He was making jokes about the president's age and health as well. Mrs. Trump called Kimmel's words corrosive, and the president said they went beyond the pale. So far, ABC.
Callie Chica left a good comment saying, what a mess. Security is weak and slow. What an embarrassment. Yeah.
He has no comment. Remember, he was suspended last September for making jokes after the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
All part of the moment we're in.
And we got some breaking news about who shot the agent in this situation coming up. So we got some cool things happening so far.
Ed, thank you very much. The man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump and members of his administration over the weekend is due in court again Thursday. In the meantime, investigators are poring over his background. Homeland Security and Justice correspondent Nicole Skanga joins us now. Nicole, good evening. What do we know about the evidence collected so far?
Yeah, good evening, Tony. There's a full forensic review of suspect Cole Allen's.
Yeah, good evening, Tony. There's a full forensic review. I had a singing coach one time, and he was like, you women just need to be women. Stop trying to be a man. Speaking your natural voice, being a feminine woman is just absolutely amazing, and it's good for your vocal folds. And so whenever these girls like hit those low octaves, it's just they're trying to compete with the man. For what reason? Like, compete with yourself. Be a woman. Be proud for being a woman. Nothing against her. She's a good-looking woman, probably very smart. And she's not giving duck lips like at the very start, so I already like her. But, you know, just programmed to speak in a lower octave, to sound more dominant and assertive, when fragility and warmth is just so strong coming from a woman, you know. If a man sounds fragile, it's like he's not gonna help you lift an engine out of a truck.
Electronic devices now underway at FBI laboratories in Quantico. Investigators are poring over a laptop and desktop computer seized from his home in Southern California, as well as a laptop and an encrypted hard drive taken from the Washington Hilton, plus a Samsung phone retrieved from the suspect. Allen's entire family has cooperated with investigators, and we do expect prosecutors to add more charges.
Nicole, there's been some confusion about how many shots the suspect allegedly took and who shot the Secret Service officer that was.
Cat Williams is hilarious, bro. Cat Williams is so hilarious. Cat Williams called that whole Diddy thing like 6 months before, or was it 2 years before it even happened? I don't know, but definitely before it happened. He's tapped into something.
Wounded? What do we know on that front?
Yeah, at this point, investigators believe that the suspect fired a single buckshot from his shotgun. Only one member of the Secret Service, the officer that was struck, is confirmed to have discharged a weapon, firing 5 rounds total. But there is still some uncertainty around how that officer was hit, since no bullet fragments have been recovered by the FBI from the scene. The Secret Service has been briefing lawmakers this week, but leadership believes their plan worked, that while the alleged gunman made it roughly 20 feet into the security perimeter, there were more than a dozen agents between him and the ballroom doors, plus hundreds more at the event. Tony.
All right, Nicole, thank you very much. Now to our new reporting on the man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump last weekend, the selfie he took, and what he was doing in the hours just before his alleged attack. Here's Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman.
Minutes before surveillance cameras captured that sprint towards the ballroom, a different camera captured the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack suspect allegedly gearing up for battle, his own camera. A selfie taken around 8:03 p.m. shows Cole Allen in a black dress shirt and red tie with a shoulder holster for a pistol, knives, ammunition, even pliers, according to a court document filed today.
The suspect stayed somewhere here at the end of the corridor on the 10th floor of this hotel. But there's something I want you to see. Just steps away from these rooms is this stairwell, and that leads directly down the stairs to that terrace level.
That was at about 8:15 p.m. The document says he had already checked a presidential tracker online, and that at 8:27 p.m. the suspect accessed a website broadcasting the event live.
He also worked for NASA. Captain Black says, I want to know how someone with such a high education ends up in such a situation. Maybe schizophrenia. You never know. You never know.
Images obtained by the Washington Post show Allen hunched as he allegedly fired one blast from his shotgun.
But you know what? When people are very, very thin, and he seems like a thin guy, like he's malnutrition, your brain doesn't operate as well as when you're like in a healthy weight. So who knows what he's doing or how long he's been doing these things, but he seems like he's been cutting weight, like he's trying to make weight for a UFC fight.
As the uniformed Secret Service agent at the bottom of your screen quickly pulls his weapon and begins to fire. The Secret Service says that agent fired 5 times, but he hit neither the suspect nor the officers standing in the line of fire. The suspect then stumbled and fell unharmed near guest and Navy veteran Aaron Thielman's feet.
And it didn't seem like he was trying to get up as soon as he fell.
I looked to see if there was any movement, and I didn't see any movement. I looked to make sure he was disarmed, and then I took off.
Hillman then ran downstairs.
And what did you see about these doors?
The doors were wide open, and I was very concerned because we had the line of succession for our country in the ballroom, and I didn't know what they knew. So I started shutting the ballroom doors.
Now, former Secret Service leaders tell us the issue of the open ballroom doors was an issue, and that's because it offered a direct line of sight to the president. They also say more should have been done to have prevented the suspect from even getting into that secure area. The Secret Service says it is launching a mission review to assess what went wrong. Tony.
Matt Gutman with that new reporting tonight. Matt, thank you very much. The man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump last weekend appeared in court today as we learn still more about the attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Our Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now. Caitlin, good to see you. Still no plea yet, but we did learn he'll be staying behind bars for now. Is that right?
Super strange, man.
That's right, Tony. And it's actually a surprise that Allen agreed to remain in detention because his attorneys earlier had asked for him to be released ahead of his trial. But prosecutors want him in federal custody because they say the crimes he's being charged with are among the most serious in the United States Code. And they allege Allen engaged in extensive planning of the attack, Tony.
Speaking of the attack, Caitlin, we've got more on the timeline of the incident. What can you tell us on that?
That's right. CBS News has learned from sources that 7 seconds elapsed from the time he burst through a set of double doors, ran past a security checkpoint, lost his balance, and was apprehended by law enforcement. And in between that time, the Secret Service says the suspect used a shotgun to shoot one of their officers at point-blank range, who...
Goodness gracious. Point blank. Cali Chica. Sending a happy Mother's Day thing. So nice, so nice. There you go. Oh, she pressed it by accident. She didn't mean it. We got James Moore jumping in on the chat saying the big soap opera entertaining y'all. I hope it is. I hope it is. Give me the truth, man.
Who was slightly injured. And now Allen is charged with attempting to assassinate.
So did he ignite that hot metal? Let's listen to that one more time.
The suspect used a shotgun to shoot one of their officers at point-blank range, who was slightly injured. And now,
is the suspect Cole Allen, or is the suspect someone else? And do we have video footage of that?
Allen is charged with attempting to assassinate President Trump.
Mr. Jeff jumping in on the chat saying because fresh air is free. That's right. Fresh air is free, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. We got some awesome things coming up for members very soon, very soon.
Along with 2 other gun charges. And Tony, we're also expecting prosecutors to bring another charge, assaulting a police officer. And Allen is due back in court on May 11th, Tony.
Caitlin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you. So what we have here is a statue of Double B. And someone said, I'm not going to say it because that's mean. But anyways, he's got a very long Pinocchio nose. And people are saying he's addicted to war. And this is in Israel. This is really why. This is in Israel. And so the Israeli protesters demand end to conflicts over here. Yeah, love to all the mothers by Captain Blackbird. What a ladies, man. What a smooth operator, man. Only a smooth operator thinks about that. Good job, man. Good job. Let's see what's going on in Israel. Israelis protesting against Double B.
For the whole region, it's a very non-stabilizing government that thinks that everything can be solved with brute force and killing and war crimes, and we are addicted to war and to bombs and to destruction, and we don't even care about warlords.
You know, also this government have a responsibility of what happened in 7 of October 23, and they don't care what happens. They care only to survive.
So sad, absolutely so sad. My goodness. But what's going to happen after these people are protesting? Are they going to make a difference? Does the government even care? And user TT saying, I have no mother or grandmother. My goodness. And I think he also said all my elders passed away. May their souls rest in peace. Sorry to hear that, buddy. But you know, one thing I heard someone say is like, oh, you don't even know how good it was. It gets worse. It gets way worse. And when I heard that, good guy, good friendly guy. But that was like a thing that I think he said without like thinking about it. I got really angry with him. I was like, I'm already in pain from losing somebody. Last thing I need is for someone to try to bring me down. All right, if you gotta go, man. But what I figured was, no, it's gonna get better. And it's definitely gonna get better. And it's all a mindset, you know, like you can be sad about certain things. Of course, like that's the worst thing in the world, losing somebody. But it's also a mindset. That's the reason it's super important to love the people while they're here with you. And just like really, really love them. And that type of unselfish love where it's like, I just love you so much, you know? And it makes a difference. Sometimes it takes like losing someone very close in your life to understand that stuff. But death shouldn't scare you. Like if that's something that happens, you know, like in a natural good way. I'm not saying ever to like extinguish yourself. No, absolutely not. If you're having problems, figure out the problems, overcome them 100%. If you need someone to talk to, I'm always here to chat, or, you know, find some professional help. But whenever like you lose somebody, it's always the hardest thing, and then good things come from it. Absolutely good things come from it. So don't give up on yourself or your dreams or any of those types of things. Yeah. Captain Blackbird says death gives us reason to make life worth living. 100%, buddy. So that was actually for you, user TT, even though you left. maybe you're listening to this. But anyways, yeah, it's not easy. But make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026. Become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. And let's see what's going on with the USSS. Chief confirms who shot agent at WHCA dinner.
Joining me now for an exclusive interview is U.S. Secret Service Director Sean Curran. Director, thank you so much for being with us here today. I would love to...
Oh, you need a funny cat video? Come on, bro, dude. You know I got you. You're gonna see my ugly face for a sec. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be very, very professional over here. That's not a cat video, bro. But this one right here. So this is Shakira's dancer, and she's getting a lot of attention. It's not a cat video, but just to brighten the mood a little bit. You know, just to brighten the mood a little bit. Yeah. She's getting a lot of attention. And people are, you know, just like, what is she doing? She's so attractive. Give me those cat videos. Not a cat video, but this will work. This will definitely work. Any Italians in the chat? You gotta know if there's any Italians in the chat.
Posso offrire un gelato?
A me?
Sì.
Davvero?
Vuoi un gelato?
Sicuro?
Sì.
Che carino.
Aspetta, sto scherzando. Questo è per te, sì.
Got Leonardo in the back. He's not going to do it a second time. He can't do it the second time, all right? He gave him the number one. You're the number one, man.
Volete un gelato?
Do you want an ice cream?
Aspetta, stavo scherzando. Tieni, prendi. No, prendi un gelato. Quale vuoi? Sì. Sì. Prego. Buon appetito.
Finally gives him the piece of ice cream, dude. How dare him make him wait so long, man. How dare him. Yeah. What's going on in the chat? Oi says, looks like a cat video to me. Yeah, Kirby knows. Oi knows. Yeah, Captain Blackbird likes those types of cats. Good man. I hate the cat suit degrading. What's the matter with the great dress? Yeah, you tell her, Leanne. You tell her. Next time I see her, I'll tell her Leanne doesn't approve. Put on a dress, woman. Leanne, go on and get your ice cream, Leanne. You deserve it. Definitely. All right, make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026, and trying to find the truth, trying to make the world a better place. What's going on over here?
To start by picking up on what Janine Pirro just said, and we both heard there together. She suggested, I believe in that interview, there were only two shooters, Cole Allen and a Secret Service agent, one Secret Service agent. Is that correct?
That is correct. All the evidence that I've seen,
Mr. Good Citizen says, going to be another fun day at work. That's right, buddy. That's the optimism I want to hear, man. That's right.
Suspect shot our officer point blank range with a shotgun. Our officer heroically returned fire while being shot point blank range.
Okay, so this is the guy that got shot then, allegedly. Is that right? We do them like sometimes for like 2-3 hours. It depends on whenever like the vibes done, or whenever I get tired. One of those types of things. But right now we're trying to. It's not as smooth as it usually is. It's usually much smoother. But we're working on this new chat thing. I'm trying to get this pop-out chat so I can just like light it up. And Captain Black says, hopefully until I'm done working. That's right, bro. Whenever Captain Black is done working, then we're done. That's right.
In the chest with a shotgun, he was able to get off 5 shots.
Kirby says the vibes never end. That's right, brother. That's right.
It's great training. The officer just acted heroically. Great job.
So the one officer that returned fire is the same officer that was shot by this suspect.
That's correct.
All right, and he got off 5 rounds. And I'd love for you, we appreciate you being with us here today. You know this, there's been a lot of questions and criticism around the Secret Service in the wake of this assassination attempt. And I'd love for you to address some of that with us here today. There are people we have seen say, how does he shoot 5 times and never hit the suspect?
That's a great question. And you're right, there are a lot of critics out there. Quite frankly, some of them are former agents that when they did the job, they weren't in the game. If you want to know stuff about the Secret Service, please ask me. I've actually done the job, but I will tell you, that officer, while being shot, was in the process of falling down and was returning gunfire. To be shot at is not a pleasant thing, and to be able to actually return fire at that rate of speed is just remarkable.
But the suspect was never hit, correct? He was correct. Never hit by a bullet.
That is correct. The suspect was not hit.
How did he go to the ground?
It appears that the suspect hit his knee while being engaged by the officer on one of our magnetometer boxes. and began to fall to the ground. That's what it appears to be. And at that moment is when officers and agents were able to subdue him and pile on top of him.
That's a pretty quick response. He goes to the ground and almost immediately he has officers dogpiling him?
It was immediate. It was right at the MAG checkpoint, which was just remarkable, the speed. When you talk about an individual who is determined to do what they do, and that speed, you're talking almost about 4 seconds from start to finish there. That that officer was able to return fire while being shot.
Yeah, James Moore jumping in on the chat saying, any other scenario if an officer is S-hot, the suspect almost always gets S-hot back. Yeah. How did that not happen here? You have how many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 12 officers. And he didn't get S-hot back. Wild. What do you think, James? What do you think, buddy?
And he was subdued shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. Just as a curiosity, Director, we're seeing some pictures on our screen. Allen doesn't have a shirt on at the time he's subdued on the ground. Why is that?
That's correct. Well, I will tell you also, there were some reports that he was...
James Moore says, ST aged. Could be. Oh, he tripped? It's because he ate S-hit before they had the chance. Yeah, he was running, forgot to tie his shoes, lost a shoe. Top of his foot hit the back of his heel. Bam! Over the handlebars he goes. Sandra Logue says, think the Secret Service needs some retraining. Yeah, this dude looks malnourished, man. He wasn't getting money from the Somalians over there. They're like, yeah, we'll pay you. So he had to do something. Yeah, dude, I have no idea. Mr. Good Citizen says, they are incompetent. How many times are they going to drop the ball? Absolutely. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member if you want. Throw in a super chat if you want.
By the stairs, that's incorrect. He was taken down by the magnetometer checkpoint. And for officer safety and everyone's safety, it appeared that there was some type of tactical vest that he was wearing. So those officers again bravely removed that clothing to ensure that he did not have any other devices on him, and then relocated him to another area to get him safely away from the scene. Okay. So that is why he wound up where he was.
He was wearing a tactical vest. Also, as we just reported a moment ago, he had a lot of other materials, wire cutters and so forth. Any indication of what he intended to do with pliers and wire cutters?
Not at this time. Obviously, the FBI is investigating. They would have more information on that.
Okay, let's talk about the security setup that evening. We have had former Secret Service agents on this program in the past week, and what I've been led to understand is you set up concentric circles around the protected target, in this case the president. And the most inner circle is the protection around the president himself in his vicinity.
Oh my gosh, did we get Sandra Logue? First wave W for Sandra. What in the world? Yeah. Welcome to the amazing community. Veronica, come here. Show Sandra some love and respect. Here's Veronica.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. You are amazing. Mr. Good Citizen loves Veronica. There you go.
What I was told, and I'm happy for you to be here to correct this.
That's so nice. We got a warm welcome for Sandra. Look at that. Everybody loves you, Sandra. You're welcome here.
If any of this is wrong, is the middle circle is the magnetometers. There is another one outside the building that sort of vets and keeps protesters away. And I think there's a lot of questions about where those magnetometers are in relationship to the president and the ballroom, and how far away, and was this man capable of getting too close?
That, again, great question. And some of those agents, I know who they are, probably haven't been operational in about 25 years. A lot of things have changed since then. What I will tell you is
What? That thing haven't been operational in 25 years? What in the world?
That, again, great question. And some of those...
Oh, Leanne, new subscriber. Yeah. Thank you. Happy to have you on board, girl.
Those agents, I know who they are, probably haven't been operational in about 25 years. A lot of...
He just said some of those agents have not been operational in 25 years. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Leanne, you got a little kitten in a box. Such a cute little emoji. Haven't seen that before. And by the way, y'all, if you want to see some of those emojis that we have in the chat, we got some for the Dems, some for the reps. We don't have any for the centrists, right? We got to have some of those. Let me see. We got Trump, we got the GOAT, we got the septum piercing for the libs, we got the MAGA hat for the conservatives, we got the drop the mic, and we got a picture of the host. And then we also have some requests that we got to get finished whenever Captain Black and a few of the other ones that have emoji, and Stephen Wells have emoji rights. So there we go. Or if you guys have any ideas of what type of emojis you want, we can throw them in there. Wha-bam. Callie Chica, go on and feed yourself. What you doing? Come on, girl. Don't starve yourself. It's not worth it.
Things have changed since then. What I will tell you is that magnetometer checkpoint is the outer perimeter. What they're referring to on the outside is a vehicle checkpoint. Very different, and they're not aware of the distance. They're also not aware of why we set those magnetometers up in that place. We do a study, we do blast analysis, and from start to finish, you're talking almost 355 feet. From magnetometer to podium, that's almost 120 yards. That's a long distance to get to.
So 120 yards from the magnetometers, did you say to the stage where the president?
Oh my gosh, we got fried frequencies. Welcome to the first wave, buddy. Good for you, man. Good for you. Veronica, come here and say thank you to fried frequencies. Go on and go on.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Go on and do your push-ups. You're amazing. You gotta stay fit. Gotta stay fit. I love it. I love it. There you go. Incredible. That is so cool. That is so cool. Welcome. Happy to have you all on board. So incredible. We're gonna have a good time. And it only gets better.
President sat?
Well, there's also you're talking two separate floors. So you're talking the terrace level is above where the ballroom was, and there's 3 terrain features in between. So from the magnetometers, you have some hallway.
Me too, it's
and
so
then
cool.
you have to ascend one set of stairs to a platform, to another set of stairs, down, around, to a double set of doors that would lead you into that ballroom. That's a long way to go.
And I would presume, Director, that along the way, were he able to get further than he did, he would still be encountering other agents along the way?
And that's where our multi-layer approach comes in. We have officers and agents in between. We have a rifle team and other assets that we wouldn't get into on air, but that's all that's in between, and then other protective details and multiple guns in between.
Okay, then let's address the hotel. There's been a lot of conversations about the fact that he was checked into the hotel and that gave him a unique proximity to the president. Is that the case? People have talked about whether or not this should be at the ballroom, but tell me what kind of security complication the hotel made for you at the Secret Service.
Well, I'll tell you, it's 2 separate sites. So you have a ballroom and then you have a hotel, and in between you have a breezeway and a hallway. So it's 2 separate sites, and you have to traverse through, which is why.
Yes, Leanne. Mostly. On very rare occasion, I kind of change up the times, but I'm usually on every morning. And there you go. If you watch too much news, now you can interact with the news and with all of your new friends that you have over here. So yeah, don't be a stranger. That's right, James Moore. James Moore knows. Yeah. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. Have some fun. We got cats. The cats are kind of mean over here. And we got dogs. Our dogs are funny. We got a lot of awesome things coming up.
We do what we do. We do analysis. We have teams that go out and do an advance, and that we treat it.
Oh my God, bro said BAAL room. Oh my gosh. I think everyone in the chat wishes he was wrong, but I don't know if we can really say he is wrong. We just wish he was wrong. We can't say he is wrong, but we just wish he was wrong.
Did it like two separate sites.
Okay, do I understand this correctly?
Yeah.
He took a hotel elevator down out of his room into what I presume was a hotel lobby.
Albie Joan has jumped into the chat. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Oh, man. Have you been flying around, man? Getting those FPV shots? You got that solid barrel roll if you guys like some drone stuff. Albie Drone has some awesome, smooth lines. Very cool, man.
Capable of moving from that hotel lobby into the terrace area where the magnetometers are set up. Is that, and so he or any other hotel guest could have made their way from the hotel lobby into the terrace area, but at that point they would have encountered magnetometers?
Well, he actually descended the stairs and he moved into a long hallway, still separated by a double set of doors, which is once you pass through that double set of doors is when you enter into the area where you have the magnetometer set up, and that's where he broke into a full sprint.
Right into a full sprint when he comes through those double doors, right?
Yes.
When he was just short of making it to the magnetometers?
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious, one last thing on this.
In his name I slay says, thank you. So what's going on with this? False flag or what? A lot of people have been saying that. Yeah. But I can't say for sure. Allegedly, I could say allegedly. That's what's going on.
Director, when you look at the entirety of it, I believe that President Trump has said this. I know that Vice President J.D. Vance has said this. What we saw on Saturday.
Albie Jones says, seems sus. Yeah. It almost seems like that dog was like, oh, here's Cole. We know Cole. Cole's a cool guy, right? You gonna pet me? No, you're not gonna pet me? All right, well, have fun with your shotgun. Allegedly. Yeah. Captain Black knows. Captain Blackbird says, allegedly is a safe word. Keeps you from trouble.
Saturday night was success. When you look at how this unfolded from your perspective.
MN Spara says, you talk to Moo. Thanks, buddy. We're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. Happy to have you here, buddy.
Was this a success? Could it have been done better?
Yes. Well, you just brought up President Trump. I just would like to take a moment to thank him. I know he doesn't like the spotlight sometimes, but what I will tell you is he took a moment to call our officer that was shot, and as always, a class act, and very grateful that he took the time to do that. Now to your question. The site was set up perfectly. I will tell you, I would not change the site again. And yeah, I think the site was set up perfectly.
Yeah. You bring up President Trump, Director. Such a unique situation in terms of, sadly, the number of assassination attempts that have been perpetrated on President Trump. Also, he's President Trump, and he's got his own opinions. He's got a big personality. And earlier today at the White House, Director, he said this when asked about the potentiality of wearing a bulletproof vest.
Is there talks about you potentially wearing a bulletproof vest moving?
Wearing a bulletproof vest, huh? Jersey Girl says he doesn't like being in the spotlight like water is not wet. There you go. James Moore says, notice he's wearing red and black. Trying to figure out what's going on with red and black. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Like, maybe very accurate with the hot metal throwing and missing on purpose.
Forward, given you have now
or blanks.
Been shot at.
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier.
What a funny guy. Come on, you gotta give it to Trump, Mr. Funny.
Have you, I don't know if you could hear that, Director, if you said.
Red and black. Wait, how am I not getting it here, but I got it there? That's weird. So weird. Oh, I think I'm supposed to get it here. I didn't. That's wild. I'm not getting all the chats. Or am I? Am I even? What is going on? I got James's first chat. I didn't get a second chat. That's so wild. But his second chat says red and black are the elite's colors. Hollywood also uses red and black as a theme. Red ties represent Republican Party. Yeah. In his name I say, who's arrogant?
That he wouldn't be very excited about looking 20 more pounds, adding.
POTUS. I think we all just didn't want any more wars and wanted cheap oil, but I think he might be compromised. You never know.
Adding 20 pounds with a bulletproof vest. Is that something you try to convince him of?
That's true. He's always been very arrogant. Arrogant and funny. I don't know. I think you can like be offended by arrogance, or you can just laugh at arrogance. And I think that's kind of a self-perspective thing. Maybe you can just enjoy it a little bit more by laughing. I'm not saying you're like a stiff or anything. I'm just saying, like, from my personal experience, I think I've been to that place where I'm like, I'm mad, or I can just laugh and be happy about it.
To wear a bulletproof vest?
That's not something I would talk about.
Good night, Cali Chica.
Out on air.
I understand.
That would be a separate conversation.
I understand.
For sure.
The president brought it up today. We thought maybe that would be an interesting perspective that he brings to the table. Doesn't want to look overweight. But so at this point, Director, you look at everything that went down this weekend. It was a success. Would it be easier? And I'm asking you this from a logistical perspective, not a political perspective.
Oh, that's
Would it be
the
easier
reason.
to secure an event like this in something that was already on a secure location, like a proposed White House ballroom, as opposed to a public venue like a hotel?
Look, I always prefer to be at the White House. It's something that we completely control. And look, there's an impact to the community. You know, when we do these sites, there is an impact to not only traffic but the community, and there's budget concerns there. So if you're able to do something in one secure place all the time, you know, that lessens the burden on all the surrounding areas. So that makes total sense.
Right. I want to leave you with one last thing. I brought up the vice president. He had some very kind words for the job that was done by the Secret Service on Saturday night. Here's what he told me yesterday.
The thing that I really gained an appreciation for, Will, is what an amazing job.
What a good man Mr. Good Citizen is. He says, or I don't know if it's a he or she, but that person says, it's the start of a beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Hope you all have a great day. Good man right there.
Agents of the Secret Service do. You saw they went right to me. They went right to the President of the United States. They put their lives in harm's way. I just feel very grateful to them and very grateful for what they do. And frankly,
in his name, I slay. He sold out to Israel. Did you see him pushing in Yahoo's chair? I did not, bro. I did not. Did he give him a foot rub as well?
grateful to God that that agent who was shot was not seriously hurt. It could have been a lot worse, but the law enforcement did a great job, Will, and we should all be grateful for that.
Director, your reaction to what you hear there from the vice president?
Yeah, look, he's an amazing man. The vice president and president are just really great protectees. They're great to us. They're great to work with. But I will tell you, look, this shows what the brave men and women of the Secret Service do day in and day out. It's an amazing job that they do every day, usually goes unnoticed. And it's a hard job. It's a hard job on everyone's life, their personal lives, and yet they still show up. They're patriots. They want to protect this nation. And, you know, I'm grateful to be able to work with these men and women. They're so brave, and it's incredible.
Well, Director Kern, we appreciate your service from Butler to today, and thank you for giving us this time today to understand some of the insight and logistics behind what happened.
So we're learning a little bit more from these clips, but as we learn, we still kind of think maybe we're not getting like all of it. But another polarizing and controversial person, Mr. Alex Jones, for InfoWars' final interview with another very controversial person, Myron Gaines. Man, what's going to happen here? This is just wild. Just wild. Let's see if this is gonna go for it. And we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in a super chat, become a member. We're growing the best community on the internet, and would love to have you on board. Talk to us, Myron. Talk to us, Alex
This war,
Jones.
I truly think, is one of the biggest blunders by far. You know, Trump has two big mistakes during his term. The Epstein files was a huge debacle, and then obviously
Corvus album just dropping. Nobody is forgetting about the Island Man files, and Myron Gaines just dropping that word. What's going on over here, man? Wow.
What we got going on right now with this conflict. And they warned him. They told him, the entire intel community, look, bombing them is not going to effectuate a regime change. These guys are crazy clerics. They have a martyrdom culture. They're gonna, you know, buckle down.
Captain Blackbird says, never forget, never forgive. What about forgive but don't forget? Like forgive but remember. Forgive but remember. Isn't that better? Because if you don't remember, how are you going to learn from those mistakes? I could be wrong. You guys saw me, what was it, 10 minutes ago? I was proven wrong. I sat wrong. Instead of I stand wrong, I sat very wrong. But yeah. Forgive but remember. I think that's and have some grace.
Down and fight, and that's what they're doing. This is a war of existential existence for them. Existential war for them.
Yo, user TT, how you doing, buddy? We had a 20-minute chat about you, dude, and then you left us. I hope everything's good with you, man.
So they're going to fight tooth and nail, and we've lost this war strategically in every single way. Yes.
That's a tough one. James Moore, that's a tough one. We did, TT. We did. You can ask Captain Blackbird. It was a pretty nice one. A pretty nice little 10 minutes we had on you. But as far as James Moore, you're not required to forgive P3Ds. I stand by that. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. It's a hard one, bro. Forgive, but there's a price to pay, like a huge price to pay for that, bro. And the price has to be so high that no one in the world ever would even think about doing that, you know, like just so big. Just, you see what happened to that guy? That's the reason you don't want to do that. If you want to do anything like that, go find a midget. Go find a midget. Get your mind right, dude. Find a midget. That's Paul R9. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. Great to have you on board, man. Sorry, we're getting a little aggressive, dude, on that thing, man. Sorry, TT, bro. Dude, allegedly, bro. I used the wrong word. Dude, come on, man. I gotta take that social media class, man. I gotta use the correct words. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? No, bro, you can't. What do you call the adult midget? Like, what's a non-derogatory?
Yes, we're winning militarily. Yes, we're blowing them up.
What is a non-derogatory word for a grown woman midget? You can't say that, bro. You can't say that, dude. It's not what it is. Maybe you're right. LP? Dwarf. If you say dwarf, you know like what you're talking. I'm gonna say dwarf, right? While historically medical, this term is accepted by many within the community, though some prefer little person. It generally considered offensive than it is generally considered less offensive than midget, but should be used with caution and respect for it. Like, I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way. Dwarfs need love too, you know, but like you have to classify that thing where like 25 and over or whatever, like whatever that thing is. Thank you in his name I slay, brother. Appreciate you. Happy to have you here. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. Talk to us, Myron. Stop getting me in trouble with those M words.
Yes, people are, getting...
but not by attrition, they're winning. Just like the British won the first 5 years, we won the last. Exactly. It's who hangs on the longest.
That's precisely what it is. Whoever can hang on longer.
A Gidget from the 1960s? I never heard of Gidget. Gidget is a portmanteau of the words girl and midget, meaning small girl. It originated teenage daughter of author Fred. No, that's the thing you don't want. You don't want a Gidget, bro. You need a dwarf, grown woman. Sorry, short people, we love you. That's right, that's right. Little big man. Yeah. Leprechaun sounds posh.
Is gonna win, and for them,
best pickup line: if you're in a lounge, you ask the woman if she has ever played Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. If she says yes, you're in, and if she says no, you say cool, I can call 6 of my friends.
They got the Strait of Hormuz pretty much closed down. We got the blockade.
These are also hands down the smartest Muslims.
Yes,
they're like geniuses.
They're high IQ. They're pretty high.
They're not put.
Yeah, they're pretty high IQ, and they've been preparing for this for decades. You know what I mean? They've literally been preparing for this for decades. They watched Saddam Hussein get toppled, and they're like, all right, we need to have bases underground. They have hundreds of these missile cities. They got drones. They got ballistic missiles out the Wuza. They manufacture.
And the Strait of Hormuz is a giant death trap, and Trump wants to go into it. You know, he fired the head of the army. I know this exclusively. Yeah. He said, there's basically we need hundreds of thousands of troops. We don't have it.
Yeah.
And Trump said, give me another general. We can do this.
Yeah.
Trump is, if he thinks he stuck his dick in the beehive with this attack, with it leading us into it.
James Moore dropping some W's in the chat saying, I would marry a dwarf. There you go, bro. There you go. Good for you, man. I don't know if it's a big thing, but it's the first time I ever heard about it. They hire dwarfs like in England. And what they do is when they go out drinking, like before a man and a woman gets married, they have a bachelor party for the men and a bachelorette party for the women. And for the bachelor party, bunch of the boys go to a pub and they hire like 5 dwarfs, and what they do is they throw them over the bar, but they don't hurt them, but they catch them by their armpits and throw them, and they get caught by that, and they just all laugh and have fun. And never heard of that except in England. So that's one of those things they do in England, which is quite funny. And if you do that, make sure that you don't ever hurt a dwarf. Every soul is very, very important. Babs42 jumping in on the chat. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. I love you. We're developing the best community on the internet.
This is 100 times worse.
And is that what it's called? Dwarf's loss? Dwarf toss. Dwarf toss. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah. You guys have dwarf wrestling, bro? Oh my gosh. go. We have over 1 million active personnel.
And the thing that kills me, Alex, is that the entire intel community warned him, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. And he still did it anyway. Tulsi Gabbard went out and said, yeah.
Kirby speaking some facts. Listen to Kirby.
Iran's not making a nuclear bomb. They would have used it by now if they actually had one. They don't have one, okay? And that's been a ruse that Trump's been using to justify. Because here's the thing: before the war started,
well, they should get one, like North Korea. They won't get attacked.
Precisely. If anything, we've emboldened them to get one now. And before we went to war with them, there was 3 main things they were worried about: the proxies, the nuclear program, and the ballistic missile program. We haven't stopped any of the 3. Now they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to destroy their Navy and destroy their Air Force. What, an Air Force that has jets from the 1970s when the shot was
notice they never tell us the goal, because the goal's been regime change and it's failed. So it's if I hear one more time, we put their ships on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And you know what's funny when they say that? They say, oh, their ships are at the bottom of the sea, and I'm like, well, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. So that's even more embarrassing. So they don't have a Navy, but the Strait of Hormuz
Guys, put up a map of the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going to explain to people. It's only a few miles wide.
There's 20 miles at the narrowest.
Yeah. So in parlance, that's just a few miles. But my point is that they've got all this embedded artillery and missiles and everything.
Yep.
And they could put a missile, through the top of a radar dome 500 miles away. They are going to destroy our troops when they come in.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll kill them, but they're ready to die.
Sorry, Babs. I tried to pin your message and then unpin it, and I accidentally deleted it. Do not mean anything wrong by that, brother. I don't know, Captain Blackbird, the reason he stopped. I don't know. I think it could be some reason for like censorship or one of those types of things. I have no idea. There you go, man. Maybe he sold out and retired. But would he be happy if he did that? Honestly. Oh, user TT says InfoWars was bought by The Onion, and the first episode was stupid. There you go.
Far out in the Persian Gulf. They know that they can't go there. And here's the thing, they talk about this block.
Alex Jones always reminds me of that extreme GTA radio host you hear from Captain Blackbird. Alex was railroaded? Never heard of that term.
Blockade. Dozens of ships have still went through. Like,
true,
we're stopping some of them, but dozens of them are still going through, and they're paying $2 million per. So what we've basically done is we taken an economy that was basically like an oil economy with shadow fleets. Now we made it a oil economy as well as like a toll economy, because they're making money on the Strait of Hormuz with that. And then here's another thing that these don't talk about. We still got the Caspian Sea, and the Russians are giving them support through the Caspian Sea, through the north. So
just to clarify, it says if Alex is railroaded, it means he was forced, pressured, or rushed into a decision or a negative situation unfairly. It implies a lack of choice, and that authors deliberately rushed a process, such as legal proceeding, a business deal, which might be Alex's situation, or a decision to ensure a specific, often unjust outcome.
Us having this blockade down in the Persian Gulf, that's only, solving half the problem.
All right. I tell you, this guy, I've known about him for years. Very popular podcaster. Got to visit him in Miami when I was out there doing his show, Patrick Ben David's, a few months ago. Cool studio, literally at the very top of this building in Miami. I thought I was in Star Wars Episode 3 or something in the capital city, man. That was amazing. I've been in a lot of skylines, but up there, all the pools below us and the bars, and you're on the very top of the building. That's pimp.
Yeah, it's good, man. No complaints.
Got like your own elevator go right to the top?
Yeah.
They call that a panty dropper.
Every now and then it works. Every now and then.
You got a book here. Why deserve even?
I haven't heard Alex Jones hype up a guest. I don't think I've ever seen the introduction of Alex Jones, so that's really cool. That's delightful to see his charisma. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Myron Gaines. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the first book was Why Women Deserve Less. Second book is Why Women Deserve Even Less. Book number 3 coming, Why Women Deserve Nothing, coming very soon.
And there you go, dude.
Now, what's the philosophy there? Your girlfriend's very beautiful. She seems very happy. It looks like she's got quite a bit.
Yeah, she's doing okay, but one of them. But yeah, basically, all jokes aside, it's about guys understanding their worth, not being simps, understanding that the sexual marketplace has changed, dating has changed, women have changed, and that guys need to adapt for the new normal.
Yeah, like the stereotype we heard of men. Mm-hmm. But it's they don't seem to understand though that that long term it's not a good plan, and it makes them very unhappy once they figure that out.
Yeah, it's been one of the biggest lies and biggest blunders we've had in modern day society. It's created so many other problems.
Well, the CIA created it.
Yeah.
To destroy families.
Yep.
Now they're just married to the state.
What's her name?
Gloria Steinem.
Gloria Steinem, exactly. Well,
James Moore.
The last name says it all, but yeah.
CIA.
Yeah, CIA. Awesome. Also, that's another conversation.
That's such a cool
But yeah,
look.
it's literally been one of the
I was wondering how fast we get into 2 minutes.
W.
I was going to ask you.
Let's do it.
It's a new record. You went 2 minutes without saying something about you didn't do this, but some of the other guys bashing years ago, they'd come and say, Jones told me don't talk about it. A total lie.
Oh, that's not true.
And then Bongino
You've
says,
always been open and said, hey, say whatever, talk whatever you want to talk about.
And then Bongino says, I get on the line with him when he would come on as a guest and say, I want to lie to my listeners. Will you lie with me? What? That is the biggest. Yeah, he really pissed me off of that.
Really?
Oh, he is crashed and burned. He has no viewers now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he posted.
Talk about his show.
Yeah.
I think old Netanyahu's been giving him a little bit of ding dong.
Taking
him and Lindsey Graham getting. I think Netanyahu and Lindsey Graham double team Bongino.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham is definitely 100%. He's on some weirdo stuff. It's like he's always constantly going to Israel and talking about how great it is and how we need to bomb Iran.
Lindsey Graham's. I've never heard that before.
Oh,
by the way, it's a joke
awesome.
about Bongino.
Yeah,
I all know it's Trump that gets double teamed by Netanyahu and Lindsey Graham.
Oh yeah, he had a lot of nice things to say about you on Truth Social.
Waffle. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. James Moore, those are some awesome jewels you sent, bro. That was so cool. Hydration. You got that turtle drink or something. That's awesome, bro. Thank you. They're so entertaining, bro. Appreciate you. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. And yeah, we're developing the best community over here. You get to see some awesome things like from James Moore. How you doing, Humongous? Good to see you, buddy. Get to hear things from opposing sides as well. We're just trying to find the truth, have some fun over here. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you join us.
Yeah, look, my deal is
twice.
I love it. I'm fried.
Yeah.
Well, not as fried as you, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, the midterm.
I feel a little fried today. I didn't even drink anything yesterday, but I'm just so not beyond off. We're closing tonight. Yeah. We've survived so many times. People aren't taking it serious. Well, this ain't here tomorrow. I love when you survive. They go, oh, it must not be real just because you fought hard. Yeah. And then when I finally get shut down, people go, what?
Yeah. But hey, man, I mean, like I said before, you guys are going to transition into something new. So they can't stop the message, man. They can't stop it. They could change the name, but message still.
By the way, you brought me the book as a gift. I'm going to read it and give it to one of my girlfriends, but one of my ex-wives. No, seriously, this, I wanted to do a psychology test because he's all sold out, like I told viewers, in 2 days. That wasn't 2,000 of them. That wasn't a gimmick. Folks at Bigley have this World War II, machine gun dog tags, Liberty or Death. I wanted to see if Myron Gaines wanted that. I have another one here that's a Moan Labe. That's personally my favorite with the Spartans phalanx. So I was hoping he didn't want that because there's only one left. So I wanted it, but I was going to give him whatever he wanted. And then I got this one that I designed that was the best seller. It's the Jerusalem Cross, which I know scares you. It's like I'm doing a vampire. I'm joking. And you've got a Christ is King. That actually scares you more. I'm joking. Anyway, I know that Muslims revere Jesus. And then you've got, but you wanted the InfoWars. I said, you're really smart. You're going to want this because this is no more sales of any InfoWars stuff after tomorrow. So here you go, brother.
Thank you so much.
Wise choice. That is the most valuable knife. Now we got a powerful 6'10" Muslim with a knife. Look out.
Actually, hold on. I think I got the hardcover version of the book here somewhere.
All right, anyways. Oh, I get a nice one.
Yeah, you got, let me. Oh, here we go. Now we got an even better quality one, hardcover.
I love it. I'm going to read it.
Even less.
I'm going to read it. No, it is true. My dad wasn't like some pickup artist. Or
Thank you for the gift, Alex.
You bet, Mr. Super Pimp, but we'd be on hunting trips and stuff, and he'd always say, sometimes I don't talk to your mother for a couple days. You know why?
All right, Captain Blackbird. Thank you, buddy.
Do that? I go, no. He goes, well, you're going to learn when you treat too good, they're not happy.
Yeah.
And it's just like a weird rule. And then you actually, with force, I'm always nice to when they get a little too out of control, just tell them to shut up and mean it, and then they get so happy.
Yeah.
It's weird. Well, what is that?
I hate to say it this way, but it's because they're and the reason why they're is because basically they'll sit there and say, oh, I need you to be nice to me and be a gentleman, whatever, but they don't respond favorably to that, right? They respond favorably to the guy that, puts them as the second and third priority, the guy that gives them less, because, they're designed to want to be around guys that are better than them. So, what's a higher demonstration of value than to kind of treat them as, hey, you're not the priority here.
So it's very hierarchical.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Women respond favorably to status and hierarchy. Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, men are like that too. Like all these Trump supporters that just want to be at Mar-a-Lago and wear a tuxedo. Men are followers too. Now, what if you get
to a degree?
Aren't there that are super leaders and have IQ and it's a little bit different? I mean, there are some in general followers because general men are, but there are spectacular that are 2,000 horsepower.
People in general are followers, but for them to be aroused and really attracted to you, they have to want to follow your lead to some degree. For us, that's not a requirement to want to follow our partner. For them, it's kind of a requirement for them to really be aroused and attracted to you. And let's be honest. Yeah, of course, there's going to be that are, higher IQ, intelligent, whatever, but that's a minority, unfortunately. That's not, as with men, right? A lot of guys are retarded too. But the difference is, as a man, if you're retarded, you're going to get punished for that. If you're retarded, you can still find a rich guy and have the privilege of being retarded. You don't.
There you go. That's true.
Well, we are in a crisis because the West isn't having any kids.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, big problem.
I guess it's good because the left's extincting themselves.
They are. Like liberal who are the forefront of not having kids and being. Yeah, they're the ones pushing for it, and they're not having kids, which is good.
I love all these countless videos with the fattest, ugliest saying, I'm not going to give men any sex to punish you. And I'm like, lady, you ain't getting any ding dong.
There you go. Sandra Loke says Trump hasn't dropped anywhere near the bombs dropped during the Obama administration between 2015 2017. Obama had at 50,000 dropped between Syria and Lebanon. My goodness.
And if yours from some, ugly black dude or that.
Thank you for the chat, Sandra.
Probably doesn't want to take you serious anyway. And if you do have a kid with him, he's going to leave anyway. You know what they say? Once you go black, you're a single mom.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. We got Nico James dropping on the chat, throwing in some good words saying, I hope you develop a relationship with Jesus Christ before it's too late. We all expire. Don't miss your chance. Amen, Nico. Thank you for jumping in on the chat. Make sure y'all subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every single day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want.
The best stuff you do that I'll give you, which no one does better. Charlie Kirk. I've been watching a lot of your stuff. No, I would say you're better than Charlie Kirk. You are the best.
I appreciate that.
I'm not being mean. No, Charlie, wild, in political stuff and speeches and overall, as an overall player, kind of like a basketball player that can do all the positions, he would be the OG, just having all the bases covered. But you at these town halls and university stuff, it's I can't turn it off. I'm like, I'm busy, but I'm watching this. When did you start? I've seen it like for a couple of years, but you're just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I've been doing it for over a year now. I do it with Uncensored America. It's a lot of fun. Because I went to one of these ritzy schools myself. I went to Northeastern in Boston. So for me, when I'm on these college campuses talking to these people, I understand the academic vernacular and the BS and the pompous attitude that a lot of these college students carry. And I'm able to just kind of sift right through and be like, look, you're not as smart as you think you are. You're very stupid. And, and college nowadays, man, is an indoctrination camp. 10, 15 years ago when I was going to school, you actually had to not be an idiot to get in. But nowadays, since college has turned into a business, it's been inflated when it comes to tuition costs and everything else like that. Like when I went to Northeastern, it was like $36K a year. Now it's like 70, 80K. So it's become a business.
And you're paying to be given a worthless degree.
Exactly.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And And now even mainstream media admits that 90% of college degrees are.
Oi, oi, jumping in the chat saying, is that the Temu version of Kirk? Oh, man. User TT says, I've got the feeling Dan was threatened. Dan? I don't know who you're talking about. Should I know what you're talking about?
You're worthless. How long does this bubble go?
I don't know, because a lot of them aren't, you know, a lot of people are starting to wake up that college is a scam. They can't find jobs getting out. It was starting to become a problem with finding a job when I was in school, so I can only imagine how bad it is now.
Yeah, well, people say to me, Jones doesn't have a college degree. Well, that's because I was making $200,000 a year when I was 18 selling.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, yeah, I was selling, and I was the best salesman wherever I worked. You know why I was a good salesman?
Why?
I learned what the best product was and who was making the most money.
Yeah.
And I went and got jobs doing that.
That right there is a high income skill versus, like, you know.
Well, no, the best salesman has the best product. The smartest salesman sells the best product.
Exactly.
I don't want to sell to people. I want to sell something that's good.
Yeah. Especially
sells
because
itself.
That, and also you don't want to, you know, if you can't scam people anymore nowadays with sales. Like
Solar Man Tint. Absolutely. That's a very famous quote saying, I guess you could say, when you are young and you're not a Democrat, you have no heart. But as you get older and you're not a Republican, that means you have no brain.
If you do, like, people are going to out you on the internet, you're going to get cooked, you're going to get bad reviews, and people won't buy your product.
But see, I've always been instinctively, I didn't have to read a book. Later, I read books about it, and I was like, I already know all this. It's like a...
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like, once a person from there is laughing about the extinguishment of Charlie Kirk, that kind of pushed me away from that side. Like, honestly, that was too much for me.
Restaurant, you want to have great service, great atmosphere, super quality, nobody ever gets food poisoning, and it's consistent, and now you got a line around the block. Why would I want to get you in once, give you food poisoning?
Yeah,
like, I want a relationship with you.
Exactly. And the key is, like, you know, when it comes to like restaurants, whatever, they say you typically need the person to come, you know, 2 to 3 times for them to become a lifetime customer, and that's how you make your money is with retention. I remember when I worked at McDonald's as a teenager back in the day. One thing I noticed about them is they'd come in every day and they'd order the same thing every day, and that was something that was like really red pilled me.
Consistency.
Exactly.
That's what I always do.
Yeah, Kirk was definitely speaking facts, man. Definitely. What a good man he was, dude. And you know what? To tell you the truth, I wasn't too, like, I was aware of him, but I wasn't too, like, in tune with him, I guess you could say, when he was around. But after he passed, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I was missing. This dude's brilliant.
The customers are repeat customers. Double bacon cheeseburger, onion rings, and a non-sweet iced tea.
Recipes.
Yeah, and they get to, I don't do it a lot now because I don't want to be fat, but I used to go there like almost every day. They always knew what they go, the regular, yeah.
He would have been an amazing president, bro. He would have made some waves for sure. That's probably one of the reasons, you know.
Yeah.
Retention is the game when it comes to restaurants, and I thank God I had that job because it really like humbled me and taught me like how the world works. Like it really red pilled me on like human nature.
People want consistency.
Exactly.
They want reliability.
Yep, reliability, consistency, and I saw that working at McDonald's. Like, oh, these people order the same thing every single day.
Well, I think instinctively at a genetic level, it's just all mammals realize a guy they can push around is going to be pushed around by everybody else.
Precisely, and they won't, and this is why they're so they respond so favorably to security, and they look for what I call like survival value. We look for replication value. Is she hot? They look for survival values. It's going to be able to protect.
Yeah, we immediately look. Are those? Why do we love the butt more? I'm sure you're a butt man, right?
No,
well, they both go together. But
both are good.
I love a baked potato with the steak, but you got the steak's still a steak. The point is, you're looking to see if those are childbearing hips.
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
The brain's like, doesn't have an ass, can't have kids.
Yeah, with breasts, we look for things like when it like replication value, and then for them,
can you feed the baby and you can get the baby out? Okay, you look good. We're going.
Exactly.
That shows genetics like that. You're scanning literally like.
That's what we're looking for. And speaking of which, when it comes to like women, it's crazy how these college campuses are dominated by women. By the way, when I go, it's like 60-70%.
Well, that was like Mao's Cultural Revolution was run by women.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we can. But women, I do think that when we're in leadership roles for society, it leads to a lot of problems. But That's another compliment.
Well, I'm flattered. I said, what are you here for? Because you're a comic too, or you do shows. You said, well, I'm here for me. So how long are you here?
I'll be here until probably tomorrow or the day after, depending on what's going on.
If you stay over tomorrow, you'll be our first guest in the studio. It's just a backup. We'll build a bigger one.
I'll hang out.
It's nice. But we're going until 9 tonight, so let me find a hole in the schedule. We're going to get food and stuff. We still got a lot of time, but I want to have you come back.
Sure.
Because we won't be on all the radio stations, and you can really let loose. You can too, but you got to delay it. But because I was flattered you're here. I've been asking to get you for like a month. I thought it'd be remote. She goes, no, he's here.
Yeah.
Right before you came in, I was like, what?
Yeah, I can't miss the last episode of Infowars, man. I'm here, man.
Well, that's pimp. All right, so shifting gears, you obviously are an American, you're a former federal officer, all the rest of it, a smart guy, but you're also a Muslim, so you can give some of the background. And looking at what Trump's done, now he was getting ground troops ready. We knew in the threat escalation it would suck into this. Lied to him on record. The Pentagon said don't do it. These neocons are literally calling for my head. I don't want to get into it, what they've scored points on, but they've started the debanking and the harassment. People coming to my house.
Really?
Same stuff Democrats did. Yeah, it's doing it now. And like if it thinks messing with me is going to make me go away, now I'm about to get it as bad as you.
You brought the reinforcements.
I mean, I just look. Every stereotype of them that people said that I thought was exaggerated before, and then the anti-folks were always lie about me. So I was kind of like, hey, screw you. I'm not going to go as far as you do. You're not going to make me do it. Now I'm just like, my God, it's worse than, I'm about to turn to Stu Peters here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, no, I mean, it's like, it is ridiculous. I'm not going to start playing Hitler speeches, but come on. No, I mean, what's going on with this?
This war, I truly think, is one of the biggest blunders by far. Trump has two big mistakes during this term. The Epstein files was a huge debacle, and then obviously what we got going on right now with this conflict. And they warned him. They told him, the entire intel community, look, bombing them is not going to effectuate a regime change. These guys are crazy clerics. They have a martyrdom culture. They're gonna buckle down and fight, and that's what they're doing. This is a war of existential existence for them.
Recon Blues is
existential war for them.
How you doing, buddy?
So they're gonna fight tooth and nail, and we've lost this war strategically in every single way. Yes, we're winning militarily. Yes, we're blowing them up. Yes, people are getting
but not by attrition. They're winning. Just like the British won the first 5 years, we won in the last.
Exactly.
It's who hangs on the longest.
That's precisely what it is. Whoever can hang on longer is going to win. And for them, they got the Strait of Hormuz pretty much closed down. We got the blockade.
These are also, hands down, the smartest Muslims.
Yes.
They're like geniuses.
They're high IQ. They're pretty high.
They're not
they're pretty high IQ. And they've been preparing for this for decades. You know what I mean? They've literally been preparing for this for decades. They watched Saddam Hussein get toppled, and they're like, all right, we need to have bases underground. They have hundreds of these missile cities. They got drones. They got ballistic missiles out the Wuza. They manufacture.
And the Strait of Hormuz is a giant death trap, and Trump wants to go into it. He fired the head of the army. I know this exclusively. Yeah. He said, there's basically we need hundreds of thousands of troops. We don't have it.
Yeah.
And Trump said, give me another general, we can do this.
Yeah.
Trump is, if he thinks he stuck his dick in the beehive with this attack, with it leading us into it, this is 100 times worse.
And the thing that kills me, Alex, is that the entire intel community warned him, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. And he still did it anyway. Tulsi Gabbard went out and said, yeah, Iran's not making a nuclear bomb. They would have used it by now if they actually had one. They don't have one, okay? And that's been a ruse that Trump's been using to justify, because here's the thing. Before the war started.
Well, they should get one like North Korea. They won't get attacked.
Precisely. If anything, we've emboldened them to get one now. And before we went to war with them, there was three main things they were worried about. The proxies, the nuclear program, and the ballistic missile program. We haven't stopped any of the three. Now they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to destroy their Navy and destroy their Air Force. What, an Air Force that has jets from the 1970s when the shot was
notice they never tell us the goal, because the goal's been regime change and it's failed. So it's if I hear one more time, we put their ships on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's funny when they say that. They say, oh, their ships are at the bottom of the sea. And I'm like, well, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. So that's even more embarrassing. So they don't have a Navy, but the Strait of Hormuz.
Let's put up a map of the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going to explain to people. It's only a few miles wide.
There's 20 miles at the narrowest.
Yeah. So in parlance, that's just a few miles. But my point is that they've got all this embedded artillery and missiles and everything.
Yep.
And they can put a missile, through the top of a radar dome 500 miles away. They are going to destroy our troops when they come in.
Yes.
And we'll kill them, but they're ready to die.
That's why they're sitting far out in the Persian Gulf. They know that they can't go there. And here's the thing. They talk about this blockade. Dozens of ships have still went through. Like, we're stopping some of them, but dozens of them are still going through, and they're paying $2 million per. So what we've basically done is we taken an economy that was basically like an oil economy with shadow fleets. Now we made it a oil economy as well as like a toll economy, because they're making money on the Strait of Hormuz with that. And then here's another thing that these talk about. we still got the Caspian Sea, and the Russians are giving them support through the Caspian Sea, through the north. So, us having this blockade down in the Persian Gulf, that's only, solving half the problem.
And it's going to derail. I mean, look at this. U.S. debt tops 100% of GDP. I know you're a smart guy, so explain to people what that benchmark means. That's flatlining. That's banana republic.
That's us slowing down when it comes to production while China's continuing to grow. And
here's evidence. Trump has the lowest approval rating at 38%, and it's way under water and economy and cost of living. My, oh my. Dropping some heat in the chat.
And me and you have talked about trying to extensively. We keep messing around in the Middle East. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're not progressing. And what's happening? China's progressing. They're striking deals. They're being pragmatic. They're supporting the Iranians. This war was supposed to make the China and Russia weaker. Guess what? Russia's making money hand over fist now because we had to.
Here we go. Charlie knew he was going to be extinguished. He accepted that. His message was more important to him than life. That message was Jesus Christ. James Moore, Fred W in the chat. Make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every single day of 2026.
To the Pentagon's credit, not like they're bastions of telling the truth, but in losing a war, they don't like it. They told him all this would happen.
They did. The entire intel community. This is what they was it the Wall Street Journal or Washington Post? They put out an article a week before he struck.
That was leaked by Kane. Kane tried to stop it.
Okay, yeah. So they warned him a week before. Hey, look, Mr. President, this isn't a good idea. If we do this, it's not going to effectuate a regime change. If anything, it's going to embolden them even more so. And Ali Khamenei, before he died, had 7 layers of leadership ready to go. And this is why, after we bombed them, within an hour, missiles were going towards our bases and going towards Israel. Because they have a mosaic defense. They had it ready to go.
Yeah, they're not vertically integrated. They're parallel.
Completely decentralized. 31 different provinces of the IRGC all had their marching orders. That's why within 1 hour of us attacking them, they already had missiles going. And all of our bases are destroyed. The mainstream media lied for like 2 months, and it finally came, I think it was CBS or
last week, it's destroyed.
They finally admitted, yeah, all the bases are destroyed.
And now Rubio's like, well, because we killed their leaders, everything's autonomous in cells, so we can't stop them. Yes, it was designed where if you decapitate it, it keeps fighting.
Yes, that's exactly.
It's really smart.
And exactly, and they learned this.
Remember, said kill the mullah that they admit, and they'll fold. When any expert would tell you, no, that's the last thing you do.
That's the last thing. And they did this when they saw Saddam Hussein get toppled because they had a top-heavy regiment, and they saw them get destroyed. So they're like, you know what? We need a decentralized. We need different provinces, and we need a military that's completely mosaic and decentralized. And that's why they were able to mount an attack so quickly after getting literally 50 members.
Which that's actually a strength and not a weakness.
It's absolutely a strength, yeah. Yeah, and they're still going. And here's the other thing, too. Trump keeps saying this, it pisses me off. Oh, we got some new people in negotiating.
Babs42 jumping in on the chat saying, the weakest argument in the world is just crying that people are racist with absolutely no justification. Absolutely.
No, you don't. You got Mujtaba Khamenei, who is the son. You killed his daughter. You killed his dad. You killed his entire family. Like, you think this guy's going to want to negotiate with you? No, he's not going to.
Well, that's another thing. Trump used to do what he said in negotiations. That's why he can get things done. Now that it blows up all the negotiators and brags, and every time he makes a deal. Remember Trump said 2 weeks ago, I order you to stop. Enough is enough. And they intensify attacks on Lebanon that blew up 35,000 Christian homes.
Yep. And not only that, the IDF is getting kind of decimated down in southern Lebanon. Like, both of them, last time I checked about 2 days ago, there was around 2,100 dead IDF and about 2,000 dead Hezbollah. So Hezbollah has been kind of messing them up on the ground because the IDF, if they're not bombing kids, they can't really fight on the ground like that. So
let's explain what Hezbollah is the best fighters in the Middle East. Yeah. And they wait till the tanks come in or whatever. They're in holes. And they just pop up and bomb them.
And the defending army always has an advantage on their ground. So and Israel's been trying to take up to the Litani River for decades. They keep and it's funny because it's like,
and they used to deny that and say we don't want to get rid of Israel. What changed a month ago? They're like, we're taking it all.
Yeah.
And the U.S. ambassador, really the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Huckabee says they can have it all. Take it all.
Yeah, he told that to Tucker. Yeah, and got everybody else.
It was all crazy. He goes, take it all.
Yeah, they can have it. Who cares?
And what does it do to people to get them like that?
The Middle East?
They're so brainwashed. No, Huckabee looks like...
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's all just indoctrination of, we need to rule the land because if we rule the land, it'll be peaceful, blah, blah, blah. But it's
whole Bible is God getting mad at and putting him into bondage.
Yeah,
they're saying you never question any leader. Because God says you follow whoever's in charge.
Yeah, the problem is that.
Meanwhile, Herod had John the Baptist's head cut off.
TF3207 says, solar. Take some ibuprofen for that headache. Feel better. I would absolutely disagree with TF3207. If you have a headache, take a little bit of salt, put it in some water, drink it. Allegedly, that'll help you. Another one that's good is put your feet into some warm water, and that will also help you. Solar Tint Man, for sure. That would help you. And make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat. Help keep this amazing community alive. Support this channel. And yeah, allegedly that'll help. Let me know. With the last person we told to do that, it helped 100%. So hopefully you feel better.
They start all the issues, man. All the instability in the Middle East. If you look at it, the root cause is almost always every single time. I don't want to blame it all on them. Obviously, you got a bunch of crazy, radical Muslims too. But we have to be honest.
Yeah, the Muslims love killing each other too.
Yeah, they do fight quite a bit.
The Shiites and the Sunni. But in fairness, I'm not defending this factoid. The British Empire carved it up, created Saudi Arabia, took over what was left of the Ottoman Empire. They started this funding what's modern Al-Qaeda, and so picked it up, did a great job with it, and created Hamas and all that. But I mean, Britain started this.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they're the ones that they admit they teach it in UK schools called the Great Game. They did it in India too. They drew all the lines different to make everybody fight with each other. Yeah. They made the country so they would be unstable.
Well, I'm pulling out.
Oh, look at these Muslims, they can't get anything done. Before that, they had all sorts of stuff because they wrote the lines to make it unstable.
Yeah, they left a huge power vacuum with like mandatory Palestine.
W's in the chat. Damage finally agrees with Babs. There you go. There you go.
And then leaving, and obviously that created all the Ergun and Haganah, they went crazy and they started doing all types of terrorism. But that's a whole other combo. But yeah, in general, this war is just such a bad move. Such a bad move.
Well, what's going to happen to Netanyahu? Because he'll be in jail as soon as this war ends. I'm concerned.
That's why he's trying to keep it going. Well,
yeah, but the talking point is nuke them. So let's talk about that. I mean, I'm serious. We have a good chance Trump is going to nuke Iran or I believe that. I don't say that for sensational purposes. We'll come back and explain why with Myron Gaines. Stay with us. Myron Gaines is here with us in studio. In 30 minutes is the last show ever out of this building, and barring a miracle. But the miracles keep happening. I'm not going to rechronicle all those. People are hearing in the news, well, the Onion got shut down by the Third Court of Appeals, just trying to hijack this place with the Democrat Party. And this rogue judge here in Austin that ran the show trial against me with HBO, financed by the CIA and Justice Department, all declassified. Why are you leaving? Because they're cutting the internet and satellite off.
Austin has always been one of the worst places. When I was a federal agent back in the day, I started my career 3 hours south here in Laredo, Texas. Austin has always been one of the worst places, like federally for prosecuting cases or whatever. I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, we caught a pedophile up here, and the guy basically was trying to have sex with a child. And we wrote a criminal complaint, tried to get him arrested and everything else like that. And the judge declined it. They didn't want to take the guy in. And the guy ended up, putting a shotgun in his mouth and ending it after. But that's what happens when you deal with, this district as far as the federal courts.
Yeah, I've looked at big groups, Judicial Watch that tracks it. The worst Soros prosecutor in America, which is hard to be the worst one, is the guy here in Austin, Texas, Jose Garza. And my reporter a year ago got murdered by a black guy and a Hispanic guy.
We got Manic Cam jumping in on the chat saying schools are indoctrination centers. There you go. What do you think about that, chat? What do you think about that? For some reason, I have a feeling a lot of people might agree with Manic Cam.
That made rap songs about how they killed that white sub. Killed him for no reason. He's white.
By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. It helps the channel so much.
Right by this office.
I remember, yeah.
And
rest in peace.
And now this guy he's not even plea bargaining for 20 years. And the prosecutors are basically trying to give him 20 years, cold-blooded murder, saying I killed that white piece of crap. And I said, I bet it was some racist that killed him in the media. Oh, how dare you? And it was. I mean, that's the.
There you go. Alex Jones. Guessing correctly.
But like, here's the guy that pulled the trigger right here, overhead shot. And my only point is that I don't care whether you're white or black or who it is. There's this open season, though, to kill white people. What do you think's behind that?
Because black people are I'll say it, I don't care. They get mad at me for saying this, but the reality is that we live in a world now in the United States, especially where reverse discrimination is completely acceptable. Talking about white people, attacking white people, say, hey, we gonna go after you. Completely socially acceptable. And, it's not frowned upon. It's not, no one says anything about it. No one wants to prosecute against it. That's a big reason why the Black Lives Matter movement is not a terrorist organization, even though it should be one.
But isn't it, I'm not giving some of the racist black people, which a minority of them, but it's still a very active minority.
It's a lot of them.
But
it's not all, of course.
Okay, well, explain what you think. But I mean, I want to hear it, but you're a federal agent, all the rest of it, but.
Yeah.
And you can also, you can blend in the community. So I literally don't want to have enemies. I want to fix this. Isn't it the Southern Poverty Law Center, which I said 30 years ago runs the KKK, and it should come out, of course they do, unite the right. They're the ones fomenting it, that the average white person is literally creeping around like a demon, secretly wearing Hitler underwear. When I'm white, I know the average white guy's like a nerd who wants to play golf and loves everybody and wants to get along, and his girlfriend tells him what to do. They're like white Urkels. It's not true.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. I would argue black people are more racist than white people by far, and they're openly racist about it, and it's totally socially acceptable. You can walk around and call a white person a with impunity, right? But if a white person dares say, or any of that stuff, they're going to be, their life is over. So racism from the black side towards the white side is completely socially acceptable, and they commit acts of violence on it.
But didn't the 40 years of the Southern Poverty Law Center and ADL, they're the ones hyping it up.
Yeah, the SPLC, I hate them, and the ADL, they're the
What do you make of that indictment?
I'm happy about it. I hope they go out of business. All these like left-wing organizations, ADL, Media Matters, SPLC, all these organizations like, demonizing and going after guys like us on the right wing that call it like it is, them all, like, honestly. And they really were very strong with, during the Biden administration, especially.
Well, it's so obvious, but people are saying, oh, they're creating racism to make money and raise money, $1 billion. It's worse than that. It's about division and literally balkanizing everybody. And then it's not fair because some white people are naturally going to get really, really racist as a defense mechanism. And then there are a lot of black folks that aren't like that. Because listen, I grew up in Dallas. I played football. I was in track. I did it all. I had great black friends, went on fishing trips with their families, they with me, Christian people, went to church with them. The black people I knew were either super nice, but sometimes I'd go to their neighborhood, which even that bad of a neighborhood, but there'd be some old black man going, I'm going to kill you, white mother, you get out. And a guy, old man with a shotgun, like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
A white guy, black man's got a shotgun on his porch, there's white kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So people don't get black people, they have their own version of the Klan. And then you got these white people who don't even understand this. It's crazy.
Yeah,
how do you deprogram a brainwashed black person that's been controlled by the ADL?
You just tell them to return. Hopefully they wake up.
We got Waffle Jackson jumping in on the chat saying, Rich, if this channel triggers you, then Leet is doing something right. Yeah, sorry if it triggers you. I guess maybe grow some thicker skin, or find things that you like, or maybe find things within the content that you like, or maybe find things you don't like and try to argue against that, maybe against the actual idea. And yeah, you're welcome to be here, welcome to stay, and yeah, enjoy. And we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. I love you. The whole community loves you. The Lord loves you. Your family loves you. Talk to us, Myron.
But most of them are not gonna, unfortunately.
My answer is don't buck to political correctness. Don't bow to the BS. And I notice I talk to a lot of comics, though. They say if they go into a black comedy bar and openly say back to the blacks, and there's point blank but not intimidated, that on average blacks actually like it if you're just a straight shooter when it's in that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can't bend the knee to them, right? Like, they'll sit there and they'll call you a racist and they'll attack you. They do the same thing to me or whatever, and I just don't give a shit. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, so what is it like when you make these comments in your own?
They hate me even more because they look at me like, oh, like, you know, you an Arab, you ain't one of us, you ain't black. They say all this, and it's just like, all right, bro. Like, nobody cares what Tyrone's got to say. Shut up. And the thing is, like, I hit them where it hurts because I'm like, you know, I look like them, I understand them, I grew up next to them, and you know, I call out all the BS, right? Like the music, you know, the fatherless homes, the criminal activity, you know, the drug use, the, you know, smoking.
Are you saying that to try to help them?
I try to, but
but you're not giving them.
We got Sebastian Mose Queta saying, I'm mainly just focusing on chat. I don't really respect anything the dude from Fresh in Twit has to say anyway. I think that's not the accurate word for that show, but very funny, very funny. And yeah, the chat is amazing over here. We have the best chat on the internet, so yeah, you're welcome to do that too. You're free to do everything.
A pass, but did you know that black illegitimacy in 1945 was lower than white illegitimacy?
Yes, they did better during the Jim Crow era.
Because under pressure, we're not defending Jim Crow, but yeah, their own hotels, own doctors, own everything. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Then LBJ, the famous letter, says, I'm going to have these N-words voting Democrat for 100 years, literally to take the men out of the home. Then Gloria Steinem does it to everybody.
Exactly.
So they knew what they were doing.
If the government goes overboard, then France and other countries will stand in just like we will with the U.S. if Trump goes overboard. Questionable, especially with what's happening with Spain and was it Italy? Allegedly, Spain and Italy have some BEEF with Israel, but who knows? Who knows? Thank you, Kirby. No diff. Happy to have you here, buddy.
They did better. Like, black families did better during Jim Crow and the worst era for them than now. Like, the black-owned businesses, it's because the family was together. When the family's together, it's very difficult to keep them down. But now they're doing worse with more rights.
But it was all Hollywood. I've talked to Professor Griff, but also Billy Corrigan and a bunch of other, Dave Mustaine, and they all told the same story. In the early 80s, they come to him and they go, rock and roll's out, rebellion of the system's out, everything's going to be gangster rap, murder, death. And then they told me, basically, producers came in from the CIA and said, you're going to read this.
I believe
and they went and found NWA, all that. Now,
NWA was kind of like the beginning.
Yeah.
If you look at like, what was it, Straight Outta Compton? Yeah, back in 1989 or 1988, I think they dropped it.
And it's like, I'm going to kill cops and I'm going to kill other, N-words and I'm going to.
And they had a Jewish lawyer. They had a Jewish.
I was told I know KRS-One, I know them all. Because back when I was bashing Bush in the wars, they were like, hey, come to our concerts. I've been at like 5,000 people up on the stage. You gotta find all that video and put that out. Like, hand me the microphone.
Wilty jumping in on the chat saying, who wants to listen to this idiot Myron Gaines? There you go, buddy. What a beautiful thing freedom of speech is. Yeah, buddy. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Or Kanye West, George, what's like about black people?
Who's the guy with the clock around his neck doing the...
Oh, Flavor Flav.
I mean, I've been on stage for Flavor Flav. Anyways, I don't know where all these tapes are. When this stuff hits the internet, it's going to be gold. We looked around, we can't find it. Because that's all predates this office 17 years ago.
Wow.
We never used to save the stuff. I used to be so, I wasn't really cheap, but digital tapes were expensive. So we'd load it on, edit it, and then tape over it.
Oh, man.
The gold we've got, man.
Yeah, man. Those are days, VHS tapes.
But my point is, it was literally the CIA created gangster rap so that black men would go out and do that and think it was cool to throw them all in prison.
I believe it, man.
And now you got the cycle.
Yeah, and it's still going to this day. But like, yeah, you look at like, with Straight Outta Compton and then just the way it's progressed now. And then like
there's too much cussing, but delay a little bit of it. Let's play Straight Outta Compton as soon as you can, but go ahead.
Yeah. No,
I was listening to it the other day. It does sound good, I gotta admit.
And it continues now. Like if you look at like drill rap nowadays, like right now, like there was a rapper that was killed a couple years ago, and his name is Fulio. Like they made songs about like killing each other leading up to his murder, and then like they killed him, and like it's on video, like in HD, the Teslas that were recording in Tampa as he was shooting, and this is where we are now, where these guys are like actually living out their raps and shooting each other.
They think it's cool.
Yeah, they do think it's cool, and it's crazy now because it's not lyrics anymore. It's like they really do it. Like they talk about real people that died, and
that's
these are
another
lyrics
thing.
in trial.
I think cops kill 25 black people a year. It's almost all just
very little.
Or it's 100, maybe 25 questions. I forget the exact number. It's 125, but 25
See
are
the body
questionable.
cams?
Well,
Dude,
exactly.
better than body cams.
You'll hear white cop shoots black. It's an Asian cop. She opens the door. She starts stabbing him.
Yeah.
And then they say a white cop attacked her.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. On if you watch like these,
That was in
YouTube
Virginia.
channels,
It's like in
And
the
he has
OACP, a white cop just shot a black woman in her apartment for no reason. It's an Asian. The neighbor calls her. She's going crazy. He knocks on the door. The woman starts. She's like a former basketball player, stabbing him.
huge.
We got James Moore jumping on the chat saying monetary slavery is the NWO. Unfortunately. My goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for 6 months before they released the body cam, a white guy just killed his black woman.
Yeah, and if you look at the body, like he bled a lot. Like she actually stabbed him a few times
In the
before
face.
he was able to.
In the neck.
Yeah. So before he was able to shoot, but like I'll tell you this, the BLM, they pushed really hard to get these body cams. Big mistake. Now we can see how stupid these people really are, because like when you look at these body cams, you're like, oh wow, like this is ridiculous what the cops are dealing with.
Are you going on Harrison today?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm flattered you're here. So tomorrow, and it's super secret location because it's only the backup for now.
Okay.
Well, we're finishing the other one. You're going to be on me with the fourth hour, our first in-studio guest tomorrow at the new Alex Show's Network.
I'm honored.
Studios.
I'm honored.
Because it goes by fast talking to you. So, other big issues here. What's going to happen in the midterms? The Epstein cover-up, everything Trump's doing. He's not that. Why is he destroying himself?
Trump is cooked, bro. He's so cooked. You know what? He
called me fried. He's fried.
He might even get impeached, Alex.
Yeah, if they lose the Senate, he will.
Yeah, I honestly think it. Like we might actually see like him actually get, because even the Republicans, the people that voted for him, like I voted for Trump. There was no way we're gonna let Kamala Harris in. She wrote about me in her book, by the way, how I kept her out the office, me and Tate. But at 107 days. But
what percentage of your Trump supporters are to Trump? It's about 80 for me.
A majority of my guys are pissed off too. Yeah, the war.
Put
war
a
is
number
what?
on it. What is it?
I'd say around 75 to 90% off. The war is the big thing.
But CNN said 100% support him.
That's so BS. That is so. I was like, yo, there's no way. Like, there's no way, man. Because like a lot of us, when I voted for Trump, I voted for no new wars, immigration, right, going hard on immigration, and those are the two main things I voted on. And for us to go to war with Iran, the thing I did not want at all, because I knew Iran was very capable, it just threw me off, man. I was just like, this is. And I knew that the Intel committee warned him that this was going to be a bad idea. So, and when it came out that a week before they struck, that 18 agencies came and told them this is a good idea. You're not going to get the regime change. Don't do it. And then Marco Rubio slips up and says, "Oh yeah, we attacked because we knew that was going to attack." And then they went ahead and switched it. Well, we attacked because we know they have this ballistic missile shield and they're going ahead with a nuke. The whole nuclear angle. Is a lie used to, harness.
It's a cover and excuse.
Yeah, it's because they know if they say to the American people, they're going to get a nuclear bomb, and we can't have these crazy mullahs with nuclear bomb. That they know that's going to.
So it's a trigger. So how does it? The same WMDs in Iraq. So how does it end?
It ends with us having come to the table and concede on quite a few points, because the longer the war goes.
But Trump's not going to do that. I agree. He's in a threat escalation ladder. He's getting briefings on ground invasion of Strait of Hormuz. You talk about playing in traffic, folks. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So bad.
And I told you 2 months ago when it started, this is where it's going to lead, because I know Trump's not going to give up now.
Yeah, he's not. No, he's not, unfortunately, because he's looking for an off-ramp, but at the same time, he's looking for an off-ramp where he has he has a victory that he can say look, see, we got this. I mean, they had their whole, when the F-15 got shot down, I'm sure you probably talked about this on your show. They were trying to steal the uranium. They were doing a black operation.
That was a cover for that, yeah.
That was a cover for that, exactly. So they had the FARP set up. You had SEALs there. You had Army Rangers, etc. You had nuclear scientists that were there. That's how they fund that government idea of that.
Yeah, I love Trump lying then. And we had the C-130s landing in the desert to save the pilot. And then they they're there at a base digging up uranium.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do. And they were...
Which I talked to the Delta Force people that are no longer in there, but they told them, don't do this mission.
Yeah.
By the way, how do you even know the uranium's there?
They didn't even know. And here's the other thing that gave it away. The Wizzo that was stranded, that got shot down or whatever, because they got the first pilot they got the pilot quickly, and then the weapons systems officer in the back, he was a colonel. And I was like, wait, you got a colonel in the back? This guy probably was attached to this unit. And that's how they got shot down. And they got a little arrogant, flew a little higher than they should have, got shot down, and that put them in a spot. And they went from an assault mission to a rescue mission. That's why I had the little birds. There, the MC-130s, which is a classified version of the AC-130s. So,
well, it was really the cover for one of the planes bogging down because the old airfield wasn't used, or they thought it was buried, so it ran off the road because of sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Delta Force in '79 in the rescue mission crash.
Yeah, and
it's a repeat.
They basically got exposed with trying to go ahead and assault the Isfahan and get the uranium, and then the F-15 got down, and that's the other red flag was like the CIA ran the whole operation. Right, with getting him back, with using the murmurs, all this other stuff, I was like, yeah, this was 100% some type of black operation that went bad.
By the way, we have murmur satellites. It's called a GPS beacon.
Yeah.
You don't need do you even believe that murmur stuff? I know they've got passive sonar cameras at airports that can do your body walk and your face and your heart.
Yeah.
So it's true they can get a heart measure that's better than a fingerprint. I've studied it. I've talked about it for decades. But they don't have it from satellites. We found him because of his heartbeat. They've got a beacon they punch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he had the beacon. And then on top of that, like I said, the reality is we were there trying to steal the uranium.
It's a gimmick. And we've got this heart murmur thing.
Yeah.
What do you think the discombobulator is? You think they got secret weapons they're using?
Like the one they ran in Venezuela?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, that was, even though I wasn't too much of a fan of the invasion of Venezuela, I mean, you got to admit that it was a flawless military victory. And it was that victory that emboldened Trump to think.
Well, I said at the time, I said, this is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
They paid off. They'd already paid off the Venezuelans. They already decided to put, that's where it happened. The communist. Vice president in, and all they had to do was kill the Cubans protecting him.
Yeah, and the Venezuelans, let's be honest, like they didn't know how to operate the weaponry properly. The Russian and Chinese radar.
But all they had to do was buy them off. Then they only had a few hundred Cubans to kill.
Exactly, and that's what they ended up doing, and they were able to get in there. And
that's why Maduro used Cubans, because they were the only ones who were loyal.
Yeah, and then this is what Trump was planning. We're going to take Venezuela, boom. Then we're going to go to Iran, because he was hoping that with Venezuela...
Cutting China off.
Exactly. Cutting China off, and then also weakening Cuba, because Cuba relies on Venezuelan energy.
Well, China.
Yep, China as well. Then he goes into Iran, gets that done in a couple of days. He thought in a couple of days he'd be able to get the mullahs to submit. They didn't. Now he's stuck in Iran, and he can't finish what he wants to do in Cuba now.
And now, if you follow his psychology, he already had all his surrogates float nuclear attacks. This is for the break. I'm glad I remembered it. He goes, tune into Mark Levin tonight. It's time, Mr. President, just like with Japan, drop the bombs. And they're all over. We need nuclear weapons. Knesset leaders on TV, we're going to use neutron bombs. So, the Japanese were already trying to surrender. We did that. We were showing the Russians what we had. And then here he did it unconditional because MacArthur sent him a message saying, I'm going to hang you when I get there. So they were going to give up till the emperor told them, okay?
Yeah.
So that was all a
Amateur hour. My goodness. Thank you so much. I'm talking to nothing. Thank you for letting me know I'm muted. Appreciate it. Sihan, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, user TT. Appreciate it, buddy.
Administration for the Russians, that's declassified. Okay, so move on from that. You drop atomic bombs on Tehran and other cities, we are international pariahs forever, war criminals. The Muslims will rise up. Yep. They will flood across the desert in their Jeeps and Humvees. They will attack. No amount of weapons can take them out unless you use nukes on them. And the Muslims did this before on camels and gone and taken Syria and stuff. So I'm telling you, it is psychotic trying to get us to do this. Netanyahu gets off on the danger he's created, because I've studied all the war game angles. This is absolutely insane, and Trump is now marching full into ground troops. That's why they fired the head of the army.
Yeah, and not only that, look, Saddam couldn't do it back in the 80s with us supporting him and everybody backing him from the west as well. Like, you know, the mountain range on the west side starts with a K. The Alborz is to the north with the Caspian Sea, and then the mount. Oh my God, I can't.
It doesn't matter.
It starts with a K. Either way, we're talking about like we barely held on in Afghanistan with the Taliban
Iran is built to stop invasion. It's circled with 5 to 50,000 foot mountains. The Strait of Hormuz is 2,000 foot sheer cliffs for hundreds and hundreds of square miles with a tiny beach with all these built-up islands with 5,000-foot mountains they admit is honeycombed the fortress with artillery and missiles.
It's a fortress, man. It's a fortress. And is it really worth it? Like, are we going to get any real strategic benefit from this? No.
Listen, our military should climb in a wood chipper before they go in there.
It would be.
You saw the head of the Iranian military said, please come.
Yeah. The foreign minister, he smiled. It was like, yeah, we're waiting for them to come in. It would be catastrophic, man. It would be catastrophic with almost no strategic benefit for us whatsoever. Like, there's no benefit to a war with Iran. Only the benefit from this conflict. And Trump, like, he realized he messed up. He's trying to find some type of strategic W here. And he's going to try to dig in deeper, and it's just going to put us in a precarious situation.
Well, remember, Admiral Yamamoto argued, do not attack Pearl Harbor, do not do this. When we cut off their energy and we're pushing them into it, we'd broken their codes here before. We knew 2 days before where they were going to attack. They put the aircraft carriers out to sea, had the obsolete battleships there. 5 subs attacked early. They ordered the radio guys, don't report there's an attack. Yep. So, like, subs are getting blown like a mile away. Like, never mind that, man. Don't worry about that. You're the sacrifice. And
does it work? There you go. Ada, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Flatten that mountain. There you go. Damage jumping in on the chat. We're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Become a member if you want. Throw in a super chat if you want. Help us reach our goal. It supports the channel.
And then all that happened. But Admiral Yamamoto said, we have awoken a sleeping giant. The emperor thinks we're going to beat them in the Pacific and invade America. He goes, there'll be a rifle behind every blade of grass. And it's the same thing.
Sorry, Waffle House. That was definitely my mistake.
Guys, imagine even if our pussified state, if the Russians with 5 million troops tried to invade the East Coast, it doesn't matter. Everybody get their guns. It'd be over. No submission. They'd die. And it's the same thing here. We're going into Iran, folks. They're all armed.
Million strong. And then here's the thing too. The reason why the regime change is going to work is because the people are standing with the government. When we say things like, we're going to go ahead and bomb them into the Stone Age, or we're going to go ahead and have Plant Day, and we're going to end the civilization, that's going to make the people side with the government more. Even the people that don't like the regime are going to say, you know what? We don't like the regime, but we're going to go ahead and rally around the flag because we're going to protect our country.
Exactly. They exaggerated how unpopular they were before. Now they're really popular, the numbers show. But Syrian girl, she went to Tehran recently before this time, but I've had a bunch of others. They have all these big shopping malls and
don't cover their hair and everything.
80% of them aren't even, they're all lipsticked up. Yeah. So again, what we're told is not even the truth.
It's a lie, yeah. It is. It is. And yeah, they say all the time, oh yeah, the women are getting assaulted for not covering their hair. Dude, Iranian women go there. A lot of the times they're not covering their hair, their lipstick up. Yeah, they're very westernized.
What is UC? Kirby says, on my way to work and I just had a refugee talk to me. I'm on UC. I can't even help myself, sadly enough. Under contract, maybe.
So it's up to what they want to do.
It's all, and then the whole lie about, oh yeah, they killed 40,000 of their own people. That's ridiculous too.
Now they admitted months after that the CIA and Mossad delivered weapons.
Yes.
And we're killing the police.
We armed them. We tried to arm them. We had the Starlinks in there. The media literally admitted that they were training these guys to go ahead and do a rise up. Like a lot of these guys that were caught were Mossad assets. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that the Iranian government didn't kill their own people. They definitely did. But 40,000, that's ridiculous. And a lot of them were
But the point is, Trump's like, yeah, we gave them a bunch of guns. They gave them guns. They did it.
Scott Bessent like purposely crashed the Real too, on purpose. Who used to work for George Soros, who used to crash currencies. This is what they do. They did this back in December and January.
Isn't it strange after those high-power radars, which are used for weather control, got blown up, suddenly they're flooding in Iran after a huge drought.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that too.
Well, in closing, you got your new book. Let me see it. Show people.
Oh yeah.
It says, why being a and doing whatever your says works great. That's a joke. Why deserve even less?
Then here's yours.
I got a hard copy. I'm an OG over here. Where do people find that? On Amazon or where else?
They go on Amazon. Why I'm deserving.
All right. Well, here's my plug. You're going in the war room. What time today?
Whenever you.
Waffle Jackson dropping some knowledge, helping everyone learn. Saying, I hear that, brother. UC is universal credit. Thank you for the help, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. Developing the best community on the internet.
Where you want me?
Well, no. I mean, I don't know. I heard you're on it. What time is he on with Harrison?
I think 3.
Oi says.
Oh, you're right on.
Alex,
yeah, I think I'm going right. Yeah.
In my opinion, has always been controlled opposition. Man, oh man. Kind of makes sense, but he just seems uncontrollable. I don't know, man. What do you think?
All right, you guys get some pizza?
Oops.
We'll eat after.
All right, good. All right, well, I'll see you around, and you'll be my first guest in studio tomorrow at the new studios, Alex Jones Network.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
People can find the free app at alexjonesapp.com on Droid or on Apple if you want to find it. And all the websites, everything will be on Real Alex Jones, on X, and the Alex Jones Show.
That's wild. That's wild. Sometimes I guess 5 a.m. Eastern time, something like that. Something like that. Manic. To answer Manic's question. Thank you so much for the chat. We got Oi saying Alex has dropped a lot of facts over the years, but so what? Nothing came of it. He never organized people. Yeah, humongous. Captain Blackbird says, but everything should be questioned. Absolutely. We got humongous jumping in on the chat saying, ain't S hits coming. Only better days. That's right. Wilty's not a fan, saying he's an unhinged lunatic. Started watching Alex Jones in the 90s. Alex was the first whistleblower from Craig Draper. There you go, buddy. Mr. Draper jumping in on the chat. Better days depending on where you live. That's right. It's going to get better, people. It's going to get better. You're amazing. You just don't know how amazing you are. And you got to believe in yourself. Honestly. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And, you know, that Instagram lifestyle. That girl took 3,000 photos to get that one photo with the lighting, with the shadows, with the angles, with everything. That song took 20,000 takes. No one's perfect. They make it look like it's easy, but no one's perfect. And don't give up on yourself. You're amazing. You're amazing. Yeah. We love all of you. Thank you, Damage Inc. And just make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat. And we will see you soon. And for the members, we got some awesome things coming up. We got the AI stuff coming up. We have the lighting coming up. And we got some more emojis coming up. It's just so much fun, man. It's just so much fun. Just so much fun. We got all these things. And so much more. Oh my gosh, Sandra. And we got Sandra in the chat. W's in the chat for Sandra. How did I not? Oh, let me scroll so I can highlight her. There we go. Bam. Highlighted. Sandra. Just amazing. Veronica, come back and say thank you for Sandra. Everybody, you can just say thank you to Sandra for this one.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. W's in the chat for Sandra. Veronica loves you. Veronica loves you. Oh my gosh. Stay safe. Have an amazing day. And W's for Sandra. I hope that comes back to Sandra 5 times. She's going to have an amazing day today. If you see Sandra out in public, give her a hug if she wants one, or shake her hand, or buy her a coffee. I love you. The Lord loves you. And we are going to see you soon.